following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next Sunday, Gary Coleman as you've never seen him before. He's cheered your hearts. Now he's going to touch your hearts in a shocking NBC World movie premiere about a young boy's desperate plea for love and understanding.
I want you to stay out of trouble once and for all. Everything's my fault.
Gary Coleman in Playing with Fire next Sunday.
Premiering Friday after Wonder Woman, it's the all-new Incredible Hulk. A radiation experiment has unleashed the ultimate mutation, turning David Banner into a superhuman beast whenever he becomes angered. Bill Bixby stars in The Incredible Hulk, premiering Friday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
What time is it?
It's Podblast time! The comic book show and tell
That's right, it is Podblast time. Actually, it's comic book, or should I say,
clobbering time!
I'll explain in a minute. Ooh, I left my reverb on. By the way, anyone in chat, let me know, does my audio sound all right? I turned the echo cancellation features off, all of the new features. They kind of messed me up last time I did an actual Podblast. It goes to my audio platforms. I noticed in the beginning it goofed up my audio. I wasn't happy about that. So I'm hoping the audio sounds good. Let me know with a thumbs up or a comment. Does my audio sound right? Did the echo work? Hey, yeah! Did you hear an echo right then or not? Let me know if it got muffled or something, and I'll adjust accordingly. But yeah, we're going to look at some comic books. Of course, my regular show every other Friday until we get deep into the fall is about all things nostalgia. But this is the week where we talk about comic books. But I have some other nostalgic tidbits for you as well as some stuff relating to current pop culture. And we may do some trivia if time permits. Got 112 comic book covers to show you all, and I have a little bit of information and some history about some of these books in terms of the value, first appearances, and the like. And I've taken some photos of a lot of these comic book covers from my collection, so you'll see them more clearly. But most of them I'll just hold up for the camera like I always do. It's just sometimes there's a glare. But I took the time yesterday to take a lot of photographs of these books, including some interior pages of some of these comic books. But, you know, like I always say, I'm copying Steve Harvey. I don't like when people copy me. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. I'm going to copy him like I do every single Podblast and say,
We've got a good one for you!
As Steve Harvey says at the beginning of Family Feud when he hosts it, which I've seen many times live back in the day when he taped those shows in Atlanta as a audience member. He's a lot of fun to watch. Okay, so the reason I said it's clobbering time, there's a new Fantastic Four movie on the way from Marvel Studios, and one of the characters of the Fantastic Four, for those that don't know, is a lovable but badass monster, a human that became a monster due to cosmic radiation on a space flight named The Thing. Ben Grimm is the character's real name, and he's really a softie. He has a great girlfriend, Alicia Masters, who's blind, and she prefers him as the monster because there's times where he reverts back to his human form, and she prefers The Thing to Ben Grimm. It's like a great source of pathos in the stories of the Fantastic Four that Stan Lee wrote in the beginning. And Alicia Masters, who is a sculptress who's blind, is the daughter of a villain, the Puppet Master. And she and her dad, were introduced way back in Fantastic Four issue number 8 in 1962. So, quick disclaimer, I do have some video to show. In terms of the video and audio clips I'll present to you tonight, I do not represent any of the owners of this material or any of its entities. This is a live educational, interactive lecture about pop culture for fellow fans, in which I earn no proceeds in any way from this presentation on the Nostalgic Podblast YouTube channel or Facebook Live. I do not own any of the movie clips or musical cues. No rights are given or implied. I encourage all to purchase official releases of this material where applicable, as I have done. Most of these clips, if not all, were taken from other unofficial sources on YouTube. All right, so last time was the debut of a new feature, a live feature that I've called Every Issue Ever Made. And you saw in the debut segment of Every Issue Ever Made, all 81 issues of Ghost Rider Volume 2, the Marvel comic book featuring Johnny Blaze. This is the second installment of this live presentation of comic book covers in my collection. Every issue ever made, since as the title indicates, I'll show you every single issue of the comic book titles that I share with you tonight. Great comic book art. If you're into artwork and not necessarily comic books, I think you'll be entertained by the artwork. I'll try to limit the commentary so that we don't go too long. And also, a lot of people just like the books. They're like, I can't stand this guy, but damn, he's got some good information and some good books. So I'm aware of that. So I don't want to talk too much. So let me get my talking out of the way, my little intro here. Now, many of these covers, as I said earlier, were photographed by me to be on the screen for you. But all of them will be shown on camera. And I'll throw in these little fun facts I teased about some of these issues along our mutual comic book trip through time tonight. Okay, so we saw Ghost Rider Volume 2 last time. This time, and we're in our bi-weekly comic book stream, you'll see all 100 issues of Marvel 2-in-1 and all 12 issues of its predecessor title, Marvel Feature Volume 1. For those that are not familiar with Marvel 2-in-1, well, that's a comic book team-up book featuring The Thing, the heroic pile of rocks monster and member of the Fantastic Four, teaming up each issue with another superhero. Spider-Man, by the way, had a similar Marvel comic series at the same time called Marvel Team Up, which lasted 150 issues. Same concept, Spider-Man and blank. Different person each month. But that book, Marvel Team Up, which I will feature in one of these live streams, all 150 issues, lasted 150 issues, before becoming a new title in 1984 called Web of Spider-Man. So since there is that new Fantastic Four movie on the way from Marvel Studios, I thought it'd be fun to check in on lovable old ass kicker Ben Grimm, The Thing, old Blue Eyes. Now, each time moving forward, I'm going to try to stick to featuring a comic book series that lasted for about 200 issues or less in the interest of time, and so that I can show you a series that you can collect and complete yourself relatively inexpensively. Like Marvel 2-in-1, there are some key books in there, but for the most part, they're not too expensive. You could get all 100 issues of Marvel 2-in-1. And they've been reprinted. There's a series, it started in 1987, Marvel Masterworks, which is a hardcover book of 10 issues or sometimes more, 10 issues, consecutive issues of a title. The first one featured The Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Fantasy 15. So that, I think, had 11 issues. Had Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man from 1962, and then the first 10 issues of Amazing Spider-Man, and then Fantastic Four, issues 1 through 10. They featured X-Men, Avengers. Anyway, that's been going on for years, and it's amazing how far along they've gone. They must have sold so well, but it's a nice hardcover. I should show them. I have them. Not all of them, but I have the original volumes. I'll try to grab those before I sign off if I don't forget, just to show you what I'm talking about. So, you could collect Marvel 2-in-1 in the form of Marvel Masterworks, but those range, I think they're like $75 for 10 issues. It actually would be cheaper to get the original issues. And these reprints don't show the ads. And the ads sometimes are really funny. A host of a radio show I like called BK on the Air, his name's Barry King. He came up with a great idea, never occurred to me, to do a reprint book of the Hostess Twinkie and Hostess Fried Pie Marvel comic strips. They'd have a full page featuring a Marvel hero advertising Hostess snacks. And they were kind of fun and cute. And I thought that was a great idea. His show, by the way, is on, excuse me, losing my voice, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time. And you can listen anywhere outside of his radio signal, anywhere in the world at the WBHF app, or go to the website WBHF.org while he's live from 10 a.m. to noon. That's Eastern time in the state of Georgia, where I'm at. And it's a nostalgia show. I think you'll like it. No video, but his show doesn't really need video. He has a lot of good audio clips and whatnot. Okay, so I also wanted to let you know, in terms of this series of every issue ever made, I'm also going to have installments where I'll display every single issue of several short-lived comic book titles, such as Silver Surfer Volume 1, which lasted 18 issues, What If Volume 1, as an example. I may not actually choose to combine those particular books, because I know I could show Silver Surfers Volume 1, Volume 2, which is just a one-shot 1982 issue by John Byrne, and then Silver Surfer Volume 3, which began in 1988, which lasted just under 100 issues or so, maybe a little more than 100. Anyway, so I could do a Silver Surfer, because I've got them all, to show you those covers, and that's some incredible art. So anyway, that's what's going on every other week here on this channel, the Nostalgic Podblast, and my main channel, Chance Acting Demo on YouTube and on Facebook Live. That's what we're going to do every other Friday night. So let's get this comic book party started. Are you ready? Have you got a beverage? I'm drinking some coffee right now. I'm a little wound up on caffeine, the legal drug, along with nicotine, which I don't partake in anymore as of September 2010. But who cares about that? Who cares about me? We're talking about comics. We're going to begin with a title, Marvel Feature Volume 1. And it does tie into the thing, but it also, this is a controversial issue I'm about to show you. I'm going to give you some brief history about this title, Marvel Feature Volume 1, while I pull up a photo I took of the cover of my actual book in my collection. Here's the little thumbnail I put together of my actual books, and there you see it on the far left. I have a close-up shot of that book by itself, Marvel Feature, issue number 1. Oh, good grief. Here it comes. And there it is. Now, the reason I say it's controversial, as you see, it says Marvel Feature presents The Defenders. That's a superhero team like the Avengers, but they came along in the early 1970s. And there's a debate as to whether or not this is the first appearance of the Defenders. And there was a Netflix series based on these characters. But in the beginning, as you see, you had Doctor Strange, the Hulk, the Submariner, and the Silver Surfer was a member of the Defenders. And then a controversial character, the son of Satan, Damon Hellstrom, was in the Defenders. And Valkyrie, whom you saw on the big screen in Thor Ragnarok and Thor 4, the not so great or inconsistent Thor 4, as I call it. It's really called Thor Love and Thunder. But anyway, so the controversy is, was this the first appearance of the Defenders? Well, I will get to that in just a second, but here's some brief history about this book, Marvel Feature. Marvel Feature was one of 3 tryout books proposed by Stan Lee after he transitioned from being a Marvel comic book writer and editor to being its president and publisher on the management side. And the other 2 were titles that came out around the same time called Marvel Spotlight. I'll show you every issue of that book down the line. And another title, Marvel Premiere. Those were the 3. Marvel Feature, Marvel Spotlight, and Marvel Premiere. And Marvel Spotlight, by the way, introduced several key characters like the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider and Werewolf by Night, whom you saw, anyone who has Disney Plus, in a great Halloween special in color and in black and white. But now all of these titles, all 3 of these will be featured here in your Nostalgic Podblast show. The advantage of these tryout books was that they allowed the publisher to assess the popularity of characters without the marketing investment required to launch an individual series for a new character or a new team. And without the blow to the publisher's image with readers if the new series immediately tanked and failed. So it was like just a one-shot opportunity, and if it sold well, they would continue the character on for several issues, as was the case with Marvel Spotlight and Marvel Premiere and Marvel Feature. So this first series, because there was a volume 2 of Marvel Feature, was published for just 12 issues between 1971 and 1973. The lead story in Marvel Feature number 1 was by writer Roy Thomas and artist Ross Andrew, and it featured the first team-up of the Hulk, Doctor Strange, and the Submariner as the Defenders superhero team. The first 2 issues of Marvel Feature were in the 52-page double-sized format, with the remaining pages filled out by a new Doctor Strange solo story and a Submariner reprint from the Golden Age of comics, which means during World War II. The Defenders continued as the stars of Marvel Feature for 2 more issues, 3 total, and then received their own self-titled series, The Defenders, in 1972. And I'll show you every issue of The Defenders because that book lasted 152 issues. It's on my list of comic books to show you in my ongoing series I call Every Issue Ever Made. Telegraphing my punch here, but Ant-Man was the lead of Marvel Feature for issues 4 through 10 of the 12-issue title, paired with his unbilled female companion, the Wasp, starting with issue 6 of Marvel Feature. Doing an Ant-Man feature was editor Roy Thomas's idea, but he found he did not have the time to write it himself, so he turned it over to another writer, Mike Frederick, and artist Herb Trimpe. The series featured the only comics work of Trimpe's brother Mike, who inked issue number 6 over his brother Herb's pencils. Herb Trimpe explained that Mike was a graphic designer at the time and took on the inking job when his regular work slowed down. Issues 7 through 10 of Marvel Feature, which I'll show you in just a moment, each featured 3 separate Ant-Man stories and included art by P. Craig Russell. The final issue also reprinted non-Ant-Man stories from the Tales to Astonish series, all written by Stan Lee. Okay, Marvel Feature issue 11 featured a battle between the Thing and the Hulk. Issue number 12 teamed the Thing and Iron Man and featured an early Thanos appearance. Thanos first appeared in Iron Man issue number 55 by Jim Starlin. Both issues were penciled by Jim Starlin in terms of Marvel Feature 11 and 12. We'll look at them in just a second. As with the Defenders before it, the concept of teaming the Thing with a different character each issue proved popular enough during its Marvel Feature tryout to justify a regular series, which was titled Marvel 2-in-1 that we're going to look at tonight, all 100 issues of Marvel 2-in-1. Now, Marvel Feature was canceled as of issue number 12, though it had been successful in its intended role as a popularity gauge. Both of the series spun off of Marvel Feature had long runs with generally strong sales. The Defenders and Marvel 2-in-1. But like most tryout series, it could not sustain a readership of its own. Now, the second series, almost done with these notes, and we'll get to the books, I promise. Just one more paragraph here. The second series of Marvel Feature, which I will not show tonight, featured Red Sonja, a supporting character from the ancient fantasy world of Conan the Barbarian. Remember, on the big screen, Brigitte Nielsen portrayed Red Sonja. Now, Marvel Feature Volume 2 was published for 7 issues from cover date, not the real date, November 1975 until November 1976 cover date. Not real date, that would have been August of 76. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine when articles mention the cover date as if that's the real calendar date. I'm going to tell you the calendar date. I did a lot of homework for tonight's stream. Unlike the first one where I featured the Ghost Rider books, and it was just like on the fly, impromptu, and I was having to look facts up. I have everything right here at my fingertips for you guys and gals tonight, and I'll get to the comments in just a moment, I promise. I can't even see them right now, but I'll look at each and every one, put them on the screen, and all that good stuff. So, this stuff, I'm gonna not mention this because this is about Volume 2 of Marvel Feature, and I'll get to that when I get to Volume 2 featuring Red Sonja. So let's get to these books. Now, the controversy. Let me get back to the controversy right fast quick. So a lot of people say that Avengers issue, I think it's 71, was the first appearance of the Defenders as a team because these characters did come together, as the Beatles sang about, 4 stories, 4, not number 4, 4 FOR stories in the Avengers. Now, I'm going to do this. I didn't do this before the show. I should have. I need that D key. I'm missing a D key on my computer here. The Defenders first appeared. Oh, actually, I did do this. No, not the Avengers. Darn it. All right, I got it. Hang on, guys and gals. Sorry. Luckily, this isn't an audio show, so I shouldn't panic and have a heart attack if I pause. I'm sure y'all will forgive me. I just want to have some complete information here. The Defenders first appearance. And I could grab that Avengers book behind me real quick from my collection. I think it's below me there. Well, according to Google, Marvel Feature number 1 is indeed the first appearance of the Defenders. But also they say Submariner issues 34 and 35, cover dated February and March 71, also by writer Roy Thomas and artist Sal Buscema, were the seeds of the Defenders sown in those issues. So that is also, so not only is it Avengers, but you have the Submariner issues 34 and 35 and Avengers number, let me look this up really quickly. Defenders. I'm looking at Defenders facts. Okay. The Defenders Netflix show, by the way, debuted in 2017. I never saw it, but that team consisted of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. I never saw it. Let me know in the comments if it was worth a flip. Okay. Quickly, the origin of the Defenders lies in 2 crossover arcs by Roy Thomas prior to the official founding of the team. The first was in Doctor Strange issue number 183 with a November 1969 cover date, Submariner issue 22, February 1970 cover date, and the Incredible Hulk issue number 126 with an April 1970 cover date. Woo! And that all occurred due to Doctor Strange, the title, the solo comic book, being canceled in the middle of a story arc, leaving Roy Thomas no choice but to resolve the storyline in other series that he wrote for. In the story, Doctor Strange teams with Submariner and the Hulk to protect the Earth from invasion by interplanetary beings known as the Undying Ones, and their leader, the Nameless One. Okay. Barbara Norris, later the host of the Valkyrie, first appears in this story. In the second arc, featured in Submariner's issues 34 through 35, Submariner, singular, issues 34 and 35, Namor enlists the aid of the Silver Surfer and the Hulk to stop a potentially devastating weather control experiment, inadvertently freeing a small island nation from a dictator and facing the Avengers under the name of the Titans 3. I know this is so super confusing. Hell, I'm confused, and I know all about this stuff, or for the most part. I do have some blind spots, as you know, in my comic book knowledge. The Defenders first appeared as a feature in Marvel Feature issue number 1 that you see on your screen, where the founding members gather to battle the alien techno-wizard Yandroth and remain as a team afterward. Okay, so I'm going to stop with that history lesson and get to the books. The books are the thing, right? Like Shakespeare said, the play's the thing. Now, some key facts about Marvel Feature issue number 1. Obviously, it is credited by many websites as the first team appearance and origin of the Defenders, meaning Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Submariner. On the high-grade side, non-graded book, this would sell for an average of $385 for this book in nice condition, as mine is, but graded can go for over $1,000. So that's a key book. All right, now I'm going to continue on here. I got to get to some comments here. I don't want to lose the audience from neglect. Let's look at page 1 of Marvel Feature, issue 1. Day of the Defenders is the title. That's my hand. The book is in such good condition, it's like unread. Like it won't lay flat. And also it's because it's a double-sized issue. And a lot of these copies got splits in the spine because they use glue, a cheap glue process instead of staples in most cases, and they would split. Mine is not split, thank goodness. Taking a sip of coffee. There's the back cover of that very issue of my collection. It's pretty nice. Let's move on to issue 2. There's issue 2 of Marvel Feature with the Defenders. Again, I told you they're in the, or we said, or I didn't tell you. I told you. I mean, I'm saying, I already had said that the first 3 issues of Marvel Feature presented the Defenders team, which was a new team like the Avengers. And this was, kind of a satanic story, Nightmare on Bald Mountain. Let's open it up. Look at these scary MRFers. I'll tell you a little bit about it in the keynotes in a second. There's the back cover, Fast Track. Danny Staten, how you doing in South Carolina? I know you love the ads in most cases more than the comic books themselves. I know you're not a superhero guy, but let me just quickly give you some notes, and we're going to move rather quickly through these books. I mean, I have 112 total issues to get through tonight. All right, this is the second team appearance of the Defenders, and it sells ungraded, high grade, $180 on average for this book. Graded much more. I didn't look up Go Collect. Go Collect, for those that don't know, GoCollect.com compiles data of actual sales only of graded comic books. And you just put in the comic book you want to research, and you won't see a complete list. You used to be able to see that. Then they offered a paid membership program where you have to pay to see all of the data. That kind of stinks, but it's their right to do it. It's their business. Let me look this up. Defenders. Go Collect. Let me look up something on Go Collect. I just want to see. Go Collect. Defenders issue. Oh, I'm sorry. Marvel Feature 1. Marvel Feature 1. I just want to see what the graded ones are going for. Actual sales. Real numbers, not pie in the sky numbers. Let's see what it'll show me. It's building tables. It's thinking. Okay. All right. So a 9.6 is $1,800. And that is a 1-year average. It has sold for $2,000 for that book. That was the issue 1 that I talked about. But again, that's if you invest in having it graded. This issue that you see on the screen, that's page 1, which I call a splash page. Let's see what that's selling for. It's building tables. It takes a second to calculate. And I can't see everything. I can't see a 9.8. The 9.6 was the $2,000 was a 9.6. A 9.8 is generally the best grade you can get, and it says please sign in. I'm not a member of Go Collect, but the 9.6 has a 1-year average of $303. But again, that's in a hard plastic shell, not just raw, as they say. So, all right, so let's move along. I already showed you the back cover. Here's issue. I didn't tell you when this book was released. Stupid me. Let me get back to my script and my notes here. Marvel Feature issue 2 was released on Tuesday, October 19th, 1971, to put it in perspective. The first one was released July 20th, 1971. This one, October 19th, 1971. So it was not even bi-monthly. Yeah, this was every 3 months. Usually the Marvel titles were monthly or bi-monthly, every other month or every month. So, but then the third issue, I haven't put it on the screen yet. I've got like several screens going at once. I have not. Okay, I showed you all this. Here's issue 3. Boom. The last issue of Marvel Feature to contain the Defenders team. A Titan lurks among us. I love that art. I love the condition of it. Anytime you have a cover with black, man, all the defects show up. If there's what they call a spine tick, what is a spine tick? A spine tick, when a comic book is placed on a comic book, what they call a spinner rack. You know, the rack. Hey, kids, comics, a rack. The guy stocking the book might not be careful with the spine, unlike a comic book shop owner would be. But back then, there were no comic book shops in 1971. It was just a newsstand or a comic book spinner rack. So what would happen is a lot of times, he would overstuff that particular part of the rack with comics, and they'd get bent up. Or kids would look through them. Oh, I want to see what comics back here. Let's see what they got, and they would get damaged. That's called a spine tick. And so a cover that has black as a primary cover will be very unforgiving. It will show every imperfection in that book. So that's a nice copy. Now, issue 3, before they spun off the solo series of the Defenders, let's see my notes. Is it a key? It is a key. I'm looking at a website, keycollectorcomics.com. It says, key facts, 3rd team appearance of the Defenders. This is the first battle of the Hulk versus Xemnu. That's spelled Xemnu. And high grade, ungraded, this sells for $80. Now, I don't put a lot of stock into the financial data on Key Collector Comics. It's a great website, but often it's dated or it's just not accurate. Let me see what the graded, I'm not going to do this with every book. We'll be here all night, but just through the Defenders issues, I'm really curious to see what the graded 9.6 copy of this book could go for, because this to me looks like a 9.6 if I were to have it graded. It says $286 to $290. Those are actual sales. The 1 year average is $286. The 90-day average is $139. So, it's gone down a little bit as our terrible economy in late 2024 continues to stumble along. Let's go on to issue 4. As I mentioned in my history of this title, Marvel feature, now we had Ant-Man, who has been around since Tales to Astonish in 1962. You know, he is one of the first original Marvel superheroes of the Marvel Age of Comics post-World War II era in the Silver Age of comic books. So at this point in time, he never had a solo comic book. He was featured in Tales to Astonish and Marvel Feature. And he eventually joined the Avengers and things. And he joined the Avengers. But again, that's another sweet copy in my collection. I snapped that picture yesterday. I'll just not going to go on and on about this. I don't think that's a key book. Let me look at my key notes, though. Oh, you dummy. Don't tell me. I didn't. Thank gosh. I thought I exited out of the Key Collector comic book. So Key Collector Comics says is the first appearance, it is a key, of Michael Stockton, who later becomes Dr. Nemesis. And Hank Pym becomes Ant-Man again after being Giant Man. He became giant. He could control his height up and down. It says ungraded on Key Collector. This sells for $90 in high grade. And this certainly is a high grade copy. I didn't know it was a key. The next key in this 12-issue series, Marvel Feature Volume 1, isn't until issue 8. So I don't have to go through all that. Let me look at, I know I said I only do this for the Defenders issues. I want to see what Go Collect says about the graded copies of this book. It says building tables, building tables, building tables. Okay. $288 for a 9.6. Again, hell, this could grade a 9.8 if I'm lucky. Let me see if I snapped a picture of the back cover. I don't know if I did. I didn't. Okay, let's move along. Now, that book came along on newsstands and in comic book spinner racks on April 18th, 1972. The previous issue was out on January 18th, 1972. So January, February, again, 3 months later. So it's still a 3-month title every 3 months, every quarter, if you will, every fiscal quarter. This book would be released to the public. But then it jumped to bi-monthly because the next issue 5 was released on June 20th, 1972. Let's take a peek at it from my collection. There it is. That's a good gun cover. I know if Lady Pop Hunter's out there and open by chance, she likes covers that feature a weapon depending on what the weapon's doing, she said on their live streams. That's a great channel I'd encourage you to subscribe to. They're like 11,000 subscribers strong. They're doing quite well. But, you know, I might bring someone to their table. I know they brought Kay Moonen to this table, and I'm grateful for that. He's a great chap, and I saw him in the chat earlier. And I'll get to the chat. I know I say that. When I finish these 12 issues, that'll be my break to acknowledge the chat, finally, and then we'll start talking about Marvel 2-in-1. But look here. There's issue 5 of Marvel Feature, still featuring Ant-Man. And there's the Egghead, not to be confused with Egghead in the DC universe, played on Adam West's Batman live-action show by Vincent Price. This is a different character in the Marvel Comics universe with the same name, Egghead. And as you see there, Egghead plays for keeps. Now, when did this issue, since it's a non-key, I won't go into the rigmarole, but I will tell you the release date. I think that's interesting information because most sites just tell you the cover date. This was released, I already said this, on June 20th, 1972. The next issue 6 was released on August 15th, 1972. Let's look at it. The Whirlwind. That's my favorite pinball machine. I know I'm digressing, from 1989, part of a trilogy of pinball machines by Williams and Bally based on disasters, natural disasters. The first one was Earthshaker, 1988. Great pinball game based on earthquakes. It had multi-ball. Whirlwind, just Pete Lawler art in the back glass. Just a great, great game. Sorry, I digress. But there you go. There's issue 6. Let's move along to issue 7. Ant-Man. That's kind of a, I don't want to be negative, but that's kind of a lame-looking villain, in my opinion. He looks like he's part fish, part bird. I don't know. Just the power of Paraman. I think that guy's gone nowhere, and we'll go nowhere. It looks like a Gil Kane cover. That's a great artist, but let's tell you when that was released to the public. October 17th, 1972. Next is issue 8 from December 12th, 1972, from my collection. There you are. And it's got the astonishing origin of the Wonderful Wasp. They had a lot of risque moments in comic books, I thought, between her and Hank Pym, her man, where she's like, especially in the John Byrne drawn, Chris Claremont written Marvel team-ups of the 1970s. I mean, she's wearing a see-through negligee, like, come to bed, Henry. I mean, like, a lot of adult, not overt, terribly overt, but I was like, wow, they really made her to be sexy. She always would flirt. Early on, Stan Lee wrote her to be a big flirt. She was flirting with Thor, like, come here, hunk. And she wouldn't be trying to make Hank Pym jealous. She just was just a big flirt. I love that about her character. I don't know if that necessarily translated to the comic books. I don't think it did. But she had a lot of funny lines written by Stan Lee, making her just a big flirt. And there's issue 9 of Marvel Feature of 12 total issues. I love that, with that rogue cat, that kitty cat. My Wife, the Killer. And this book was released to the public. It's got a little teeny bit of a rolled spine, a little pressing. Should fix that. I've not tried to press that book. I've got so many books. I'm just now noticing issues I could fix with my issues myself. So y'all are helping me improve my collection. But there's issue 9 of Marvel Feature. These were all new except for the little Submariner fillers for the double-size issues and the like that we talked about. But this book was released on my sister's birthday, before she was born, February 20th, 1973. Now, issue 10. This was from April 17th, 1973. Just got 2 more, and then we'll get to the chat. There's the cover of that book. Oh, I didn't go. 8 was a key, wasn't it? Let me go back to 8. Let me pull up key. It's right here, right here. The origin of, I did mention already, it was the origin of the Wasp. Okay, origin of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ungraded, high grade, $35 for that book. This book right here. Okay. Oh, number 9 is a key, but only $25 according to this site, which I dispute. First appearance of Dr. Nemesis on the final panel. So that's like a cameo first appearance on that book. God, I neglected my key stuff here. And then, all right, this is this is worth more than I thought it was. Let's get to issue 11. Now we're getting to the thing. All right, I showed you that. We talked about that. Did I tell you the date? I think I did. Yeah, April 17th, 1973. Flash forward to June 19th, 1973, and there was a change we talked about earlier. I talked about with you. I sound like I try not to talk in the third person. But there was a change. Look, in the last page of issue 10, look what it says at the bottom, and I have a close-up for you, but there's the last page of this issue 10 from my collection. Another Mighty Marvel masterwork. In the next pulse-pounding issue of Marvel Feature, the Thing breaks loose in a sense-shattering series of his own. Guest starring old Greenskin himself, guess who? The Incredible Hulk, on sale in 2 short months. And that's this book, Marvel Feature issue 11. And this started the classic team ups of The Thing and X, or The Thing and blank. I love that cover, Cry Monster. I've had this copy since 1984. Since I was a kid, and it was released, I already said this, on June 19th, 1973. I need to press that one out. Little bit rolled, not too bad. What is a rolled spine? It just means, somebody would be reading it. It's a red copy, but it's not an obliterated copy by any means. But I love that cover. I love The Thing and the Incredible Hulk battles. It's just really cool stuff. So on the high side, ungraded, this sells for $120. It's the first solo story featuring The Thing. I mean, that's going to really increase in value. So collectors out there, get your hands on this book now while you can, because the more the movies and the streaming shows are released. Oh, and I have a review of Agatha All Along, which is streaming on Disney Plus tonight. I'm going to share with you from JT, who is the official Nostalgic Podblast movie and streaming series and video game reviewer and critic. But let me look up and go collect right fast quick this title here. I mean, this issue. Marvel Feature Issue 11, graded. So it is apples to oranges, because this is an ungraded book. I could get it graded. Okay, $325 and a 9.6 grade is the 1-year average. So, I mean, that's a pretty good book, I mean, I'll take it. I'm not going to sell it. I've had that book since 1984. Let's look at the inside of this book. Cry Monster. So you see the Fantastic Four are in it. Reed Richards, who stretches, the Human Torch up top. It's a good book, and it's a great story. So get your hands on this comic if you don't have it. It's going to be. If it's not hot right now, it's going to be hot in the future. There's some of the inside. They retell the origin of the Fantastic Four and The Thing. This is his first solo title. Solo story and title. But he was in Strange Tales, though. That's the thing. Some of the things I read online, you got to realize in the 1960s, there was a title, Strange Tales, which was an anthology title. It started as a horror and monster title. Then when the Marvel Age of Comics hit in August of 1961 with the release of Fantastic Four issue 1, they started to feature superheroes. Strange Tales is what introduced Doctor Strange. And they also had The Thing and the Human Torch. It was the Human Torch, really. You know what? I just remembered. It really was the Human Torch. I knew that. It's the coffee. It was the Human Torch who had a solo story, but The Thing was in it a lot. So sorry about that, folks. Okay, so let's look at a little more. What's cool about this issue, Marvel Feature 11, is this dude came back. And this dude is from Planet X. He's the little corrupt leader of Planet X. And he was introduced way back in Fantastic Four issue number 7 in 1962. I have 2 copies of that book, Fantastic Four issue 7. I'll show you one now. Let me just briefly take this off the screen. There it is. There's issue 7 of the Fantastic Four. It's a 5.5 grade. I have another copy. It's probably about in the same condition. But I love this book. And this is a graded book. I've been talking about graded books. Keebler, if you're out there, it's a hard shell. And it's a really good idea to get comic books that were published in 1966 or before. Get them graded, because they're going to deteriorate. And they'll just turn to dust. And they'll be of no use to anyone. Plus, there's no debate about the condition. CGC is the universally accepted best grading company in the comic book industry. I know Daniel Cochran would disagree, but there it is. So there's Planet X, and look at that, Wanted, Dead or Alive, the Fantastic Four. That's issue 7 from 1962. Issue 1 introduced the team. So, getting back to the topic, and I'll get to the chat. I've got one more issue to go, and then I'm going to put every single comment on the screen, except for the highs and all that. So the reason I brought all that up is this dude returned. And it even says, the editor's footnote, we last saw him way back in Fantastic Four issue number 7. And there was a blooper in that book, but I'll just save that when I show every issue of Fantastic Four issues 1 through 200. I don't have issue 1 yet. I'm working on it, of Fantastic Four. I just have a reprint of it. I got to be honest, I don't have that book. I know a lot of good people do have that book. the golden reprint, but not the original. In 1966, Golden Records reprinted Fantastic Four issue 1. The difference was on the cover there was no 10-cent price tag. It was just blank. That's how you can distinguish the Golden Records reprint from the original. So look, there's a cool page with Jim Starlin art of the Thing and the Hulk battling. And now, look at the end. Look at the little tease in the very last panel, bottom right, with Iron Man being featured in this book with the Thing. And that's exactly what happened. There's the next issue, mint condition. I love this book. This is like, I think, the second appearance of Thanos. And these guys, the Blood Brothers, were also introduced along with Thanos in Iron Man issue number 55, right around that time, same year. No, it was 72, wasn't it? Let me look that up. Iron Man 55 was released. Let me just say, this book, though, you're looking at right here, was released on Tuesday, August 14th, 1973. That much I do know. Okay. Let me just take a breath. So Tuesday, you're looking at Tuesday, October 14th, 1973. I'm now going to look up Iron Man 55 from my trusted website, marvelfandom.com. It will tell me the real street date of Iron Man issue 55, which introduced the Blood Brothers, Thanos, and hang on, let me get it. I just got okay, and that was released. Okay. October 31st, 1972. Halloween Day, 1972 is when Thanos first hit the scene in print form in comic books. I never knew that. Halloween Day, 1972. It's easy to remember with the February 1973 cover date. And Drax the Destroyer was introduced in that issue as well. And, of course, I have it in my collection. I sound so cocky. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. Of course, I have it in my collection. I caught myself. All right, so there's the final issue of Marvel Feature. It became Marvel 2-in-1. Let's look on the inside splash page 1 of that final issue of Marvel Feature. The story was titled The Bite of the Blood Brothers. There's that. But look at the tease on the very last page. They thought at this point there would be a 13th issue of Marvel Feature because it says next, The Man-Thing. The Man-Thing was Marvel's Swamp Thing, but Man-Thing actually predates the Swamp Thing by a fiscal quarter, 3 months of time. Man-Thing was first, and we'll talk about him in a minute. Got to get to the comments before we get to Marvel 2-in-1, issue 1. There it is from my collection, and then I'll just hold up books. Hello, how you doing? I haven't shown my ugly mug in a minute or two. All right, let's get to the comments, but I've got to let me put that up so I know where I left off. I'd never forget that I left off with Marvel 2-in-1, issue 1. I probably said Marvel Team Up 1 back then a moment ago. So let me now get to the chat. Right. Hey, chat. Let's see who's out there watching on Facebook Live and on my YouTube channels. I can't wait to see what you all have been reading. Good, bad, and funny.
You have a good day today, friends. Yeah. I did.
I had a Superman day.
You had a Superman day. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Spider-Man day.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, you know what? Wait. You know what time it is? It's time for me to see the friends at home in the magic mirror. Romper bumper, stomper boo. Tell me, do. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? All my friends had fun today. I see David's having a special day today, and Olivia Joy had a special day on Sunday, and I see Robin had a special day yesterday, and Dana's having a special day today, and so is Reginald and Edward John and Margaret, and I see Justin and Megan and Courtney and Brick and Mark and Rachel and Sheila and Caroline are all having special days, and Cicely and Ashley and Matthew and Jose, and I see Bonnie and Anthony and Joe had special days yesterday, and so did Tammy and Brandon and Gregory, and of course, friends, you know I see you, and I'll see you again.
All right. Now, I see now in the chat, the audio is pretty low. I just put on that echo cancellation. Let me know, is the audio better now? Oh, that stinks if it was low that whole time. Oh, my God, the sound is so low, I can barely hear you. Audio went low, but it's good now. Oh, StreamYard. New haircut, Brother Chance? No. I just got out the shower at that point. Okay, let's go. Funny, you mentioned Web of Spider-Man. I own the first issue. Very cool with that painted cover. Yeah, that's one of the titles I'm going to show every issue ever made of Web of Spider-Man. So, wow, that stinks. I should have looked at the chat. I asked chat, how's the audio? And then I didn't get back to you like a dumb ASS. Okay, so I put the echo cancellation on. Hopefully that corrected the audio. But, man, I don't know what happened last week. I think it was the new feature. This is Inside Baseball. Anyone has StreamYard. They added some wonderful, so they say, new audio feature, and it canceled out my reverb. I couldn't properly introduce the show last time with my silly intro, where I impersonate Al Hardy, and it just sounded like crap. Okay. Let me look here. Yeah, it says, let me look at the audio. So let me tell you what it says. Stereo audio, echo cancellation must be off to use stereo. Well, of course I want stereo audio. I just turned on stereo audio. I thought it was in stereo all the time. Now how does it sound? Check, check, check. Yo, 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 yo. I'm going to turn my mic volume up. Lobo, how you doing? Lobo Gris says, gray Colonel Sanders goatee. I know my hair on my head, knock on wood, is not gray, but this always came in red. I mean, when I was younger, and now red, it's weird. I never had red hair. But the red turned to gray. Oh, well, but I have to have it. Cool cover, yeah. Hello to my flock watching on in Southern California. That's from Facebook Live. Appreciate that. Hello to Joe Gutfeld in New York State. Your Mets, they creeped up in my Atlanta Braves. I know you're probably happy about that as we're live. All right, so let's go. Any trivia questions tonight? Yeah, we can definitely do some trivia questions if there's time. How long have we gone? Almost an hour. All right, I got to get to the comics. I got 100 more books to get to. Okay, so let's see. The back of your Defenders issue 1 looks quite clean. Yes, yeah, it's like a really nice book. Chance, turn volume up on mic. It's too low when it's away from you. Oh, no, the whole show was a waste. Should I start all over again? I'm kidding, I won't. Joe Gutfeld asks, what is your favorite comic book character? Me? There's so many. I'm torn between Spider-Man and the Silver Surfer on the Marvel side, but on the DC side, Superman. Superman for sure. So there's that. Ant-Man seems to like using nails as a weapon. Yes, K. Moonin. Danny State in South Carolina says, I never was an Ant-Man fan. You don't like superheroes in general. Your words, not mine. And that's fine with that. Let's continue. Hello to Judgment Day, Mike Harper. Sorry it took so long to get to your remark. How you doing? How you doing? Let's see. A lot of folks saying hey to each other. Let's get on here. I like the Fantastic Four, says Judgment Day, Mike Harper. Yes, that's my favorite superhero team. I like them over the Avengers. Shame that book, Fantastic Four 7, is encased in carbonite. I bet it's awesome inside. But see, I have one that's not encased. When I get to Fantastic Four, I'll show you. Let me see here. What is it? Is the drinking game when I say I'll get to chat and then I don't? People have a drink. Hello to Tracy's Fractured History and More. How are you? Oh boy, these people are going to be wasted. Sorry about that. Is my audio okay? Move the mic away so we can see how audio is. Hello. Hello. I don't know. Audio is doing fine now. That was at 8:10, 4 minutes ago. It's low, says Esmeralda. Hi, Lobo. You have so many cool books, it's hard to keep up with. Says Tracy. Now, I'm going to get back to the books in rapid fire time. Danny says, not to correct me, I love superheroes like Captain America and Batman, even Wonder Woman, just not piss ants. Ant-Man, yeah. I would be offended if I were a superhero, which I'm not, because I am a piss ant, but that's besides the point. It is low away from you. All right, let me go to my settings, because why can't it be like it's always been? I want the audio. All right, I'm taking off the stereo audio, and I'll put the echo cancellation back on. I always thought it was in stereo. Okay. Keebs, how was that? check, 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 check. Because I'm going to be away from the mic pulling books out of this box. Is that better? I turned the echo cancellation back on that Sarah, my flock, loves so much and tells me to always have on. And that's fine. I want to know. Now no one's commenting when I'm looking, when I can see the chat. All right, I'm going to show you guys the box of books we're about to go through. But I took some other photos of the first few issues of Marvel 2-in-1. Here's the box from my collection. All bagged, all boarded, freshly restocked bags and boards. I always change them out. Sounds better, but still needs to turn volume up. All right, well, I can do that. I don't want to blow anyone's eardrums out. Is that too loud? Is that hot, as they say? Is it distorted? Damn, that's freaking StreamYard. Well, Kay Moonen says the audio is better. Keebler saying breathe. Let us type it in. Okay, because I want to get some more coffee. I'm going to do that right now real quick and let the chat catch up. How is the audio now? I have the echo cancellation stuff on. Thank God this isn't an audio show, so I can just relax and not worry about it. Because if this was an audio show for my audio platforms, I'd be very unhappy right now. No, set on desk now. What does that mean? Set it on the desk. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, well, the echo cancel, just like I guess Sarah was right again. My flock, Southern California. The mic is a little bit away from me. I got to get some coffee. Be right back. Check, 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 check. I should have played a video. What's the matter with me? So you could be entertained while I'm, instead of just looking at a blank screen. Let me change the camera shot at least. Oh, God, there's a glare. I can put a video on. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Kay Moonen. Don't know how Chance is going to sleep tonight after drinking all that coffee. He's going to be bouncing off the walls. You know it. Stop leaning towards the mic. You want to set it so it has a natural feel to it. Thank you for your advice. All right, let me find a clip because I'm not done with preparing my coffee. Something that will not be an issue with the bots and all that stuff. I'll just play a commercial. Be right back. Give it 30 seconds.
Wait! Wait!
Get a little closer.
Thanks.
Don't be shy. Get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry.
To get close, I trust Arid. See, when you perspire, you're more than wet. Perspiration can cause odor. Only Arid has this powerful formula that helps stop wetness before embarrassing odor can start.
Last stop. So soon? Get a little closer.
Arid helps stop wetness before embarrassing odor can start.
Okay, now that commercial, I don't know what to make of that commercial. I really don't. All right, let's get back to the comic book talk. I should have pulled one of my comic book related things like this. Yeah.
We will return to Murder by Natural Causes, starring Hal Holbrook.
Friday on The Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby is reunited with special guest star Ray Walston, who plays a magician with a few tricks up his sleeve that could lead Banner to a watery grave in a theater of death. Then, when the Dukes of Hazzard try to help out a rich runaway, it seems like everyone in Hazzard County's taken off in a wild race to collect her reward money. And on Dallas, Miss Ellie faces a danger that may cost her everything.
Are you going to walk out on me?
A great lineup starting Friday night at 8, 7 Central.
This is CBS.
All right, let's look at another Hulk promo.
Watch Friday as Wonder Woman fights evil with the help of a young girl with superpowers.
Wonder Woman.
Then, the lives of the passengers of a runaway 747 are in jeopardy. Can the Incredible Hulk save them? Friday, beginning at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time.
Tomorrow on CBS.
Right on. Okay, so I think we can get back to the comic books. Woo! K-Moon, and that's Skittles, not coffee. Yeah, that too. All right. This is like the original shot. Before I went to StreamYard, this was the only shot with camera 1 that I would do for what it's worth. All right, let's get to the comic books. Nobody gives a crap about that. So let me get to more comics. What the hell? There, that's better. All right. Comic books. Get out of here. Something was saying Black Speed. Okay, so back to the comic books. Marvel 2-in-1, issue number 1 had a blooper right on the cover. Let's see if you can spot it. Let's see if you can spot it. And I need to share out. You know what? I never did. I never shared out. This is some inside baseball. I never shared out on Facebook to the Podblast group. My Facebook group, this stream of comic book chat. Let me, I got to find a clip real quick and then we'll get to that. Let me find a clip that is somewhat interesting. Let's play a clip. Oh, this might get me. I'm going to play a clip of John Ritter and Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company playing Family Feud for charity. It's 4 minutes long. This will give me the time I need to do what I need to do. Hopefully the stream will remain up. Let's roll the dice on that. Give it a whirl.
15 seconds on the clock, please. John has the earphones on. He can't hear. Okay? All right, here we go. Just turn this way, Angel, so you can speak up. Name a candy bar with nuts.
Snickers.
A nightgown fabric.
Nylon.
A language you learn in school.
Spanish.
A toy with wheels.
Truck.
A food that everyone eats.
Pizza.
Turn around. Good go. Yeah, good. Here we go. Name a candy bar with nuts. So you said Snickers. Our survey said 60. A nightgown fabric. You said nylon. Our survey said 33. You got 49. A language you learn in school. You said Spanish. Our survey said 45. You got 94. A toy with wheels. You said truck. Our survey said 27. 121. A food that everybody eats. You said pizza. And our survey said 5. You got 126. Clear the board. That's good.
Oh, thank you.
Go on back and we'll get John out. Come on, give him a hand. Here's John. Come on, champ. You only need 74 points. That's all. You got one.
Wisconsin.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just anxious, Richard.
You need 74 points. You got 126. Okay. I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked Joyce. You cannot duplicate her answers. If you do, you hear this. I'll say try again. You give me another answer, okay?
Okay.
Now concentrate now, because we want you to win. Name a candy bar with nuts, we asked. You said Almond Joy. Our survey said 22. Number 1 answer, Almond Joy. You're 52 points away. A nightgown fabric. You said silk. Our survey said 22. Number 1 answer was nylon. You now need 30 points. A language you learn in school. You said French. 30 points for $5,000. Our survey said 26. Spanish was #1, okay? Now, a toy with wheels, we asked. You said? A train, 4 points for $5,000. Our survey said? 2.
That's all right. It's all right, John. We got it. We got
A truck was #1.
Okay.
And now, a food that everyone eats.
Get
we
the
asked.
oxygen.
You said hamburger. You need 2 points for $5,000. Our survey said. Yes. Come on, Ron. Congratulations. Beautiful. Yeah. Well done. Okay. Three's Company at 5,239. We'll be back when Three's Company plays Love Boat for $10,000.
Perfect timing. Okay, now we're going to talk about some comic books and show you some comic books from this collection. And here we go. So we're going to go with Marvel 2-in-1 issue #1 with the blooper right on the cover. Have you figured it out? No, because I haven't showed you. I showed you a glimpse of it. Look at this cover. There is a blooper, a mistake on this cover. This is Marvel 2-in-1 issue #1. And this was published or released to the public for the first time on Tuesday, October 9th, 1973. What's cool is the Man-Thing, who is Marvel's Swamp Thing, is actually cured in this book temporarily by a villain called the Molecule Man. I'll show you some art from that in just a second. In terms of the financials of this comic book, let's see here. Let me get to that. High grade, only $80. That's why I'm saying you can get all 100 issues of Marvel 2-in-1 relatively inexpensively. There are a few keys in there, but they're not major keys, at least not yet. And I would encourage you to get this book. It's a great read. I like the artwork in the early issues, especially. Some key facts about this issue 1 of Marvel 2-in-1 from 1973. This, of course, is a series that teams up the Thing with different Marvel characters. And the only keynote I see is that it's issue #1 of that title. So let me look up. I'm going to show you, actually. Did you figure out the blooper yet? Can you see it? If you're watching on your phone, you can't. So let me get a close-up look. There's the blooper. I'll just tell you. It was in the Marvel No Prize book, which is just a solo one issue of a bunch of bloopers or mistakes in Marvel comic books up until 1982 when that particular one-shot was published. And this was released in 73, as I already said. It says Marvel 2-on-1 instead of Marvel 2-in-1. That's the blooper. Marvel 2-on-1. Like it's a tag team. Let's open the book up. This is my actual copy. There's page 1, the splash page, page 1. Actually, it's not splash. Splash is like one giant panel, I would say. In my opinion, a splash page is one giant panel. Others would debate, no, a splash page is page 1. Doesn't matter how many panels are on there. I think it is one giant. So this is like really 4 panels on this. I'll just call this page 1 of Marvel 2-in-1 issue #1. Now check this out. This character, the Molecule Man, who was first introduced in Fantastic Four issue #20. I'll show you that when we get to Fantastic Four, when I feature those comics in my collection. He has this wand. He's a power mad dude, kind of a scary villain. He has like unchecked powers. He winds up just for a thrill curing both Ben Grimm, the Thing, and the Man-Thing with that wand. And there it is. There's where it happens. Those that are watching. Of course, I'm not doing an audio show, so I don't need to keep saying that. But that's inside Marvel 2-in-1 issue #1. I love that artwork. I'm going to pause in case you're trying to read along. Anyone watching on a television. Hey. I think this camera shot's going to work better. So anyone who wants to watch me and the comic Why would you want to watch me, though? With a face like mine, I'll break the camera one of these days. But there is that. And then look. That's the guy who became Man-Thing. Scientists like Bruce Banner or Dr. David Banner in the TV show. They changed his name up. I'll leave that on so you can look at the inside of this book. Look how beautiful my copy is. Continuing. There's more of Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 1, not to be confused with Marvel 2-on-1 issue number 1. And then the Molecule Man changes both of the men monsters back to their monstrous forms. Just on a whim. What do you think? Let me look at the chat. Is my audio better? Tracy says, all I know, it's beautiful artwork. It sure is. Keebler says, I don't like that camera shot. She said show. I think she meant shot. It feels like I'm sitting in the balcony instead of front row. Okay. Well, I'm trying to. Yeah. Danny Staten complained. Audio is fine. You're holding the mic. Okay. Got it. I'm going to experiment with this. These new settings are just so confusing for StreamYard there. Let's move on to issue 2. So that was issue 1. At this point, this title was every other month or bi-monthly. Issue 1, as I already stated, was released October 9th, 1973. Issue 2 came along on December 4th, 1973. And here's the cover of that book. I'm going to get back to the camera shot you prefer once I'm done with the pre-photographed covers that I took yesterday. Now, that is the second costume for Submariner. That's the costume that I prefer. He looked kind of like Greg Louganis in the initial costume, where he's wearing basically like a green Speedo. And that's the classic Submariner costume. I like this one. I think this one looks more heroic. I like the wings under his arms. It reminds me of the webbing under Spider-Man's arms in the initial Steve Ditko artwork of the early Amazing Spider-Man issues and Amazing Fantasy 15. But so that's the costume from his title. That's one of the titles we're going to cover, Submariner. There's only 72 issues of Submariner, which debuted in 1968. It was canceled in 1975, I believe, by Marvel. And it was bi-monthly as well for a while. And I'll show you those covers. That's on my list. Oh, I didn't bring it in here. I'll have to get you I'll show you a list of all these titles that I have every issue ever made of, so we can keep this going every other week as a live stream, as long as you guys and gals dig it. There's inside. Check this out. Look at this babe. Trying to save this guy from drowning. That's page 1 of Marvel 2-in-1 issue 2. And there's more of it. Isn't that great artwork, Tracy? We're going to get to me holding up the books. Now, I think that's issue 2 of Marvel 2-in-1 out of 100 issues is the last one that I pre-photographed. I'll do a better job next time of pre-photographing more stuff, but I figure a lot of, and I said I wouldn't talk as much so you could see the artwork without my voice. Just mute it. I violated my own rule once again. I'm talking too much. It's the coffee. But so there's that. So now let me switch the camera shot and we'll start holding up the issues. Okay, so let's do that. Later, Esmeralda. Thanks for being here in Washington State. It is so cool. All right, so let me get to the books themselves, and I'm just queuing up my notes. Issue 3 was released on January 12th, 1974. I was about to say, let me pull it out. I'm so immature. Let me get that issue of Marvel 2-in-1. Okay, I'm just going to grab a stack. There we go. Here's issue number 3, The Thing and Daredevil. The Thing and Daredevil. There's that cover. I apologize for the glare. I may kill one of the lights if the glare becomes too much of an issue. It looks so much better when I pre-photograph it. So it's in a bag and a board. Let's move along. I'm going to try to move along, hurry it along. Here's issue 4, The Thing and Captain America. How about that, Tracy? Look at that cover art. Doomsday, 3014 AD. About 110 years from now, as we're live in 2024. Let me see the date of that book in my notes. That book, issue 4, was released on April 16th, 1974. And I'm going to quickly look at my key collector notes or key collector website and see if anything else. Okay, we don't get to a key until issue 5. This next one up. This is kind of cool. This is the second team appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy. They first appeared. Oh, I got to do that. Marvel Superheroes issue 18, which I have in my collection from 1968 or 69, 1969. It was it was a little bit different than what you saw on the big screen. But that's another discussion. But Marvel, I didn't even write that one down. Marvel Superheroes. There's about 20 issues of all new No, there's not, because it started. Okay, let me just stay on track. It started as a Golden Age reprint book, and then it introduced Captain Marvel, the Marvel version, with the first all new issue, and they retitled it Marvel Superheroes. But we'll talk about that another time. Okay, issue 11, Marvel Superheroes, first appearance of Captain Marvel. Or is it? No, it's 12. And then 13 introduced Carol Danvers, who wound up being Ms. Marvel, and in the movies, Captain Marvel. Okay, so this is the first meeting of Captain America and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the second team appearance of the Guardians. Ungraded, on the high side, is only $30 book, so get it. I mean, this is a pretty key book. I haven't shown you the cover, have I? Let me look at the release date. June 18th, 1974 was when we saw The Thing meet the Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's the cover. I'll hold it so you can look. I don't want to go too fast. We only have 94 issues left to go. And then I have other nostalgia stuff to get to. We'll try to get to trivia, 70s trivia, for some prizes. Have you gotten your prizes? Anyone who won last time, let me know if you got your prizes yet. I'd really like to know if you got your prizes in the mail. The people I mail comic books to, like customers on eBay, get their stuff within 3 days. Have been great. But the stuff I send in envelopes sometimes can take 2 weeks to arrive. I don't get it. Why there's a discrepancy in the service, the U.S. Postal Service, but there is. Okay, let's move on then to issue number 6 of Marvel 2-in-1. And this was first released at newsstands and on comic book spinner racks on August 13th, 1974. And it's The Thing and Doctor Strange. This is another mint condition copy in my collection. Okay, the next key isn't until issue 21. I got to remember that, so I don't need to keep looking at that screen. There you go. There's issue number 6. Doctor Strange, as I said earlier, was introduced in Strange Tales, which is a book that had 2 different characters in it. Also, it eventually had Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., in that book. Strange Tales. Taking over from the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. Okay. That's issue 6. I've got to be careful with these books because these are in like sweet condition. And again, this is a modest collection, but the artwork is great. It's not all about value. I mean, I'm a true comic book collector. I'm not a dealer. I do sell duplicate copies on occasion, so I can save up for Fantastic Four, a key issue I'm looking for. I want to have a really nice copy of Fantastic Four issue 1, which is an extremely valuable book. But let's move on to issue 7 of Marvel 2-in-1. That's what we're talking about tonight. And this was out on October 10th, 1974. And it's The Thing and Valkyrie, whom we saw on the big screen in Thor Ragnarok and in Avengers Endgame. And she was white. It doesn't matter. It's a black actress born in California. She does a very convincing British accent. but she's actually a California-born actress, African-American descent, but she was Caucasian in the books. Not that it matters. I'm not complaining, but there's Valkyrie in the comic books. Nice copy. I've had this one since 1984 as well. Look at that. There's the Executioner, whom you also saw in Thor 3, one of the better Thor movies, Ragnarok. So there's issue 7 of Marvel 2-in-1. Did I say? Yeah. And that was out October 10th, 74. So the next one was, because it's bi-monthly, issue 8 from December 10th, 1974. One of my favorite characters whom we featured last time, little trivia. Whom did I feature? The Ghost Rider. And there he is, the Thing and the Ghost Rider. Silent Night, Deadly Night. A lot of people collect Christmas comic books, comics with a Christmas theme. Sorry about the glare. I'm going to try to get close to the camera so you can read it. Anyone watching on a television? There you go. As Sarah in Southern California says. Now, the next issue, hang on, I got a couple texts coming in. Better be important. I don't like to be bothered. Let's see here. Oh, my friend Jeff was telling me CGC will be at a comic show here in Atlanta this weekend at the World Congress Center. I'm not going. I got too much going on. But he was being very thoughtful. He knows I have a cracked CGC case that spontaneously broke that I could have reslabbed there in person, because I've been waiting for him to do a submission so I can give him some cash to just put my book in his box, in the box to be that sounded terrible. To be regraded, reslabbed. They do it for a nominal fee. It's not much. Look at all these text messages. It's from, oh man, let's see, Sarah's tomorrow. She did a Taylor Swift funny meme. Okay, let's move on to issue number 9 of Marvel 2-in-1. And this was published and released to the public for the first time on February 11th, 1975. And it's The Thing and Thor. And here's the puppet master whom I talked about earlier, Alicia Masters' father. Pawns of the Puppet Master. He was introduced in Fantastic Four issue 8 originally. And I already said that, but anyone tuning in late, that is the father of the love of the Thing's life, Alicia Masters, the blind sculptress. Pawn of the Puppet Master. And that's what her dad looks like in the artwork in the comic. He's a bald guy. He looks kind of like Lex Luthor on the DC side. But he's an interesting character. He's a little man. He's like kind of frail, but he creates some really interesting stuff. He brings clay figurines to life and whatnot. So let me move on to issue 10. Woo! Issue 10 of Marvel 2-in-1 is right here. And it's The Thing and the Black Widow. And this was published on April 8th, 1975. Okay. Here's issue number 11. A new character they were trying out, Golem, The Thing and Golem. And he was in the revived Strange Tales, which also introduced characters like Brother Voodoo and the like. He was kind of an interesting little monster character. And this book hit the scene on June 10th, 1975. Was it in frame? I can't see my monitor. Yeah, that's close enough. I was kind of covering it with my fingers there. All right, there's that one. Here's The Thing and Iron Man in Marvel 2-in-1, issue number 12. Let me just look up. August 10th, 1975. That's when this was from. Next up, issue 13. The Thing and Power Man. This character is great. Archie Goodwin wrote some really good dialogue for this guy when he first hit the screen and hit the scene in Hero for Hire issue number 1 in 1972. Funny dialogue. But there he is. There's a Power Man and The Thing. Okay, let's see here. So that is from October 13th, 1975. Next up, December 9th, 1975. Marvel 2-in-1 issue 14. Controversial character, The Thing and the Son of Satan. From December 9th, 1975. Just in time for Christmas, right? Could be Satan. Ghost Town. All right. Next up. This is a good one, I think. I like the artwork. The Thing and Morbius, the Living Vampire, who was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 101 in 1971. And for a while, he had his own title. He took over Amazing Adventures. Amazing Adventures, not Astonishing Tales. I get those two books confused. Amazing Adventures, which introduced the Hairy Beast. That's a character in X-Men. Remember the Beast in hairy form is introduced in that book, Amazing Adventures. And so there you go. There's that one. The Return of the Living Eraser. Let me look at when this book hit the scene. All right. So the 15th, it was on February 3rd, 1973. No, that can't be right. 1975. It's February 3rd, 1975. February 3rd, 1975. I had written down 1973. So let me grab another stack. Here they are. Now, this guy, this character, this is issue 16 from March 2nd, 1976. He was introduced in an early X-Men issue, which I have. God dang it. Let me slide this thing over here. I think he's just kind of a ripoff of Tarzan the Ape Man. It's Kazar. So here's the Thing in Kazar. Let me get my camera shot up. Yeah. The Thing and Kazar. See, he's like Tarzan the Ape Man by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Then issue 17 was released and on April 6, 1976. And it's The Thing in Spider-Man. Old Webhead. The Thing also had some funny dialogue, just like Power Man I was talking about a minute ago. He's a wiseacre. And so is Spider-Man. That's why I like seeing them together. They both could exchange the barbs pretty well. They were written to do that. Nobody clobbers the Thing. What's he saying? Maybe you can smash Spider-Man, creep, but nobody clobbers the Thing. All right, this is issue 18, The Thing and the Scarecrow. It's funny how Marvel and DC, they had similar concepts, similar names of some characters. I always find that very interesting. And this was from May 4th, May the 4th be with you, 1976, when Star Wars was being filmed. Of course, it was released in limited release on May 25th, 1977. Ooh, there's a great movie, a biopic, a very serious movie about Christopher Reeve that will be in theaters as we're live Saturday night, tomorrow, and Wednesday night by Fathom Events in limited release. And I'm going to catch it. I'm supposed to do Brainbender's Banter Saturday night. I will honor my commitment to her to do that. I'll just catch it Wednesday, and it's killing me because I didn't realize it was going to be in theaters Saturday, and there is a theater in my area that's going to have that. We'll talk about it later. All right, here's issue 19 of Marvel 2-in-1. The Thing and Tigra. A little trivia about Tigra. She was the Cat, a character, the Cat, and then she became Hellcat and then Tigra. But there she is. She's kind of a sexy character, a good character. And let me just tell you when this book was released to the public. Marvel 2-in-1 issue 19 was released on June 1st, 1976. Okay. Only got 80 more to go. This is a nothing book. I don't like these characters. Issue 20, The Thing and the Liberty Legion, July 6, 1976. They didn't even make it in time for July 4th. They missed the deadline or something. But there's the Liberty Legion. Okay, we can move on from that junk book. And here is The Thing and Doc Savage, issue 21 of Marvel 2-in-1. I won't spend too much time with this. This was from August 3rd, 1976. So what happened? Briefly, they went to monthly status, didn't they? Oh, they're monthly. They're monthly now. And they should have had on the cover now monthly, but they didn't. Let's see. So when did it become monthly? Hell, it had been monthly. I missed the boat on that. Since issue 15, Marvel 2-in-1 was monthly. Let me go back and look at issue 15. It's in the box. And see, maybe they did put something on the cover. They did not. There was no notation, now monthly, which they've done sometimes. When X-Men became monthly with issue 112 of X-Men, it said, now on sale monthly. It said right on the cover. So where did I leave off then? So it became monthly with issue 15. Now we're on issue 22. I think 25 is when I have another key coming up. This was released September 7th, 1976. The Thing and Thor. Let me make sure you can see it. Here's issue 23. Also The Thing and Thor. Continuation. That would happen from time to time. And this was first put on newsstands on October 5th, 1976. Here's another black character, the Black Goliath, who had his own title around this time. Issue 24 of Marvel 2-in-1 was released for the first time on November 2nd, 1976. I believe that was a Tuesday. And there's the Black Goliath. And he was in the movies, by the way. We saw him in the Ant-Man movies on the big screen. Ant-Man 2, I believe. There he is. '25, The Thing and Iron Fist. You're going to see the first appearance of Iron Fist when we get to Marvel Premiere. One of the 3 titles we talked about at the beginning of this stream that Stan Lee uses a springboard for new ideas and new potential characters. Along with Marvel Feature, Marvel Spotlight, and Marvel Premiere. So here is issue 25. This first hit the scene November 30th, 1976. He had 2 issues out in 30. Issue 24, November 2nd, 76, and number 25 from November 30th, 76. Just dig that art. See, that's why I don't encourage drinking, but it might help to have even just a caffeinated drink. When you look at this, it puts me in a good mood looking at this artwork. I just love these books. Now here's issue 26, The Thing and Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is from January 4th, 1977. The year Star Wars blasted into cinemas and changed everything. Issue 27. This is a cool character. February 1st, 1977. This guy was before the Terminator. Same character, basically. The Thing and Deathlock. He's a cyborg. Introduced in Amazing Adventures 25. And I have it, of course. Of course. I sound so cocky when I say that. I don't try to be. I don't know why. But Astonishing Tales 25. It was Astonishing Tales 25. I get those confused. Amazing Adventures, because they both had the same kind of run, like 30-some issues each. It was Astonishing Tales 25. I know some of you are probably yelling at me. It's Astonishing Tales, not Amazing Adventures, but it was issue 25. That part's right. So there's The Thing in Deathlock. Really cool character. He took on Captain America a couple times in the books. Issue 28, The Thing and Submariner. He's back, Piranha, the man killer. Let me tell you when this one was published. I'll take a break with issue 50 and get to the chat because I can't see the chat and I'm not trying to be a DICK to the chat. This was out March 1st, 1977. Oh, 25. What was that key book? That key book was, let me just go back to my keynotes here. God, I'm so bad tonight. 21, first appearance of Black Sun. That's the one with Doc Savage I showed. Later becomes the Nth Man, then Mysterium. Team up of Doc Savage and the Thing. Cool. So that was a key book, the one with Doc Savage. Forgot this one. All right, so just refresh your memory. So we were on 28. There's that. Now here's another key book according to my notes. Issue 29. Second appearance of Spider-Woman, who was introduced in Marvel Spotlight issue 32. Or was it 33? Oh, God. Marvel Spotlight 32. I have it. And I'll show you. She's in the next several issues of Marvel 2-in-1, as well as something that's really cool in the storyline. When did this come out? In the 29th, issue 29 of Marvel 2-in-1 was released on April 5th, 1977. So let's move along. Can you see it? Oh, that was a bad glare. And that's the Thing and the Master of Kung Fu. Of course, he's on the big screen in the movies. Okay, here we go. Here's a cover shot. Third appearance of Spider-Woman. See, she had a mask similar to Peter Parker in that her hair wasn't showing. Like when she got her own title, they had her hair loose. And I think it looked better that way as opposed to just in a skull cap. But that's how she looked. And what's cool is in this storyline, the Thing's girlfriend, Alicia Masters, the blind woman I talked about, becomes a monster who can see. I'll show you what that looked like in a future cover. So I didn't think I mentioned when this book was first released. Marvel 2-in-1 issue 30, only have 70 more to go. Good Lord. May 3rd, 1977. Yes, so here we go. Spoiler alert. The Thing and the Mystery Menace. This is from issue 31, May 31st, 1977. I hate that date, May 31st. I had a car accident and a radio station I liked a lot went off the air May 31st, 2019. That's besides the point. But this was out May 31st, 1977. And look at the Thing having a panic attack. Get him a Xanax or something. And I'll show what he's panicked about in a second. My sweetheart, my killer, Alicia. What did she become? She became like a monstrous spider. He says, cripes, it can't be. They changed my gal, Alicia, into that? My sweetheart, my killer. Grab another stack. Oh, good grief. Okay. Here's what she looks like. Here's issue 32 of Marvel 2-in-1. Look at Alicia Master. She can see, but she's like a possessed beast monster. It's a really cool story. Prowler over London. So let me tell you when this book hit the scene. This is issue 32 of Marvel 2-in-1. July 5th, 1977, day after the 4th of July, Independence Day. So what does it say on the cover? It says, Alicia's become a rampaging monster, and there's nothing any of us can do to stop her. And there's nothing any of us can do to stop her. That's what Sue Storm is saying, or Sue Richards at this point in time. She'd already married Reed and had Franklin and everything. But there you go. And she miscarried too, didn't she? It's so sad in Fantastic Four Annual 6. No, that's when Franklin was born. Oh, okay, never mind. All right, digress. All right. Oh, shoot, I have 2 copies of that. Good. 2 copies of Marvel 2-in-1 32 with that great storyline and the early appearance of Spider-Woman. Jessica Drew. So let's move along to issue 33. This is another character they tried to make a thing he didn't take with the public. Modred the Mystic. They tried him in Chiller Comics, a Marvel title. Marvel Chillers. It didn't really sell that well. This was out on August 3rd, 1977. Star Wars was already breaking box office records at that point in time. It was giving Jaws some serious competition at the box office. So there's that. Here's issue 34, The Thing and Nighthawk. Little trivia. This was out September 6th, 77. That's right when the brand new TV season was going to start up. Wonder Woman had jumped ship from ABC when Fred Silverman canceled Wonder Woman and the Bionic Woman. She went to CBS. Bionic Woman went to NBC for the fall of 77. And there was a huge, have it on 16 millimeter film and Blu-ray, 90-minute episode, weird time slot. Usually you have a 2-hour episode or a 1-hour episode. On rare occasions back then, you'd have a 90-minute episode of a TV show. And the season 2 premiere, which took Wonder Woman from the World War II era to the then modern era of 1977, was a 90-minute episode. So stations like MeTV can't really play it. It was never re-edited into a 2-hour, 2-part format. It was just had to be shown as like a one and done standalone episode. Anyway, I digress. But trivia: Nighthawk is played by whom in the MCU on the big screen? Do you know? Sylvester Stallone. Sly Stallone. Thing and Nighthawk. All right, let's move along. I can't be here all night, and I know you can't either. Hopefully the replay crews appreciated my notes. That's September 6th, 77. I said I wouldn't talk too much. What a lie. I didn't mean to lie to you. Running my damn mouth big time. Like mouth galore. Marvel 2-in-1 issue 35, The Thing and Skull the Slayer. Another nothing burger character, in my opinion. This is October 4th, 1977, release date. I won't devote too much time. I like the monster, though. Looks like the Devil Dinosaur, which is a Marvel character. Too much damn glare. Sorry about the glare, folks. All right, let's move on because that issue sucks. I like this issue. I had this as a kid in destroyed condition. I upgraded this one. Marvel 2-in-1 issue 36, The Thing and Mr. Fantastic in the Prehistoric Past. I always love that cover with the pterodactyl. It's just bad to the bone. So that's issue 36 from November 1st, 1977. Here's issue 37, The Thing and Daredevil's alter ego, Matt Murdock, attorney at law. And this is from December 6th, 1977. Let me look at my key collector website and see if I've skipped over any keys. Third appearance, Spider-Woman. No, I already mentioned that first. Okay, issue 42 coming up. Okay, good. So there's that book. Here's issue 38, The Thing and Daredevil. Make sure I can get to my notes. 38. Okay, this is from January 3rd, 1978. This title ended in 1983, by the way. Marvel 2-in-1 with issue number 100. That was the final issue of this title. So there's that. It's not bad. The artwork is not bad. Here's issue 39, Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Vision. Now let me see something here. I thought there was a key thing about this book. Nope, not till 42. This is from February 2nd, 1978. Issue 40, The Thing and Black Panther, March 7th, 1978. Conjure Night. We'll take a break with issue 50 to get caught up on the chat. Here's The Thing, and there's a coloring misprint. The Thing and Brother Voodoo. Look at how Thing, the letters or the shadow of the letters that spell Thing should be the different color, like red or purple or something, orange, like Brother Voodoo. And the colorist just messed up and made it all yellow. except for the THE in orange. But there you go. There's that. And this issue first hit the scene on April 4th, 1978, which was a Tuesday. Now, issue 42. This looks like a key. Oh, I have multiple copies of it. May 2nd, 1978, day after my mama's birthday, featuring the Cosmic Cube. And let me see my key facts on this book. 42. Oh, I had the wrong thing. That's my list of the release dates of these books. Okay. Key facts. First mention of Project Pegasus, a prison facility and lab where renewable energy is studied, and it's the first appearance of Jude, the Entropic Man. Minor key, but it is listed as a key. So I don't have to worry about keys until issue 47 from here on out. 42, and that was out, did I say it? May 2nd, 78, day after Mama's birthday. 2 copies of that. Now, issue 43. I like this book a lot. Because I like this sound. Don't take this out of context. I like the Man-Thing. And the Man-Thing's almost cured. We saw him cured in issue 1 of Marvel 2-in-1 earlier in the stream. I opened up the book and showed it to you. But in this one, he's almost cured as well. I'll open this up because I didn't take a shot of it. The Cosmic Cube has immense power. And we saw it on the big screen. Any Marvel movie people remember the Cosmic Cube. The Red Skull was obsessed with it. It was first introduced in Tales of Suspense in 1966. And let me just show you. So look at the Man-Thing. He's a lumbering thing. Look at him looking at the cube. The Man-Thing has no intelligence. It's just a lumbering monster. Was once a man. But look, he touches the Cosmic Cube. And what does it say? The blank demeanor, betraying no hint of triumph at the acquisition, but no one can say if those glassy orbs sparkle merely with reflected light or glisten from deep within. He's calling them stupid, basically. All right, let me see here. This is one of my favorite artists, too. John Byrne, who drew this. Ralph Macchio wrote it, not the Karate Kid, but another writer. Here it is. Okay. I just always love this. So the Man-Thing almost cures himself. His hand turns human, and then he drops the thing and just lumbers back into the swamp. Anyway, I don't know. I love that. I mean, the book isn't worth much, but it's a really good read. It has awesome artwork. It's funny how some comics are monetarily devoid of value, but they have so much entertainment value. Great art, great story, a little bit of tragedy. It's funny what collectors deem valuable in terms of supply and demand. There's issue 44 of Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Hercules. Hercules. And that is from July 11th, 1978. This is The Thing. I have 2 copies of this one, too. The Thing and Captain Marvel, August 1st, 1978. Here is... There's the other copy. Here is issue number 46. Again, another Hulk versus Thing cover and story. And, you know, I don't care what the key collector book, comic book website says. It doesn't list this as a key. That's BS. Any Hulk versus Thing is a key. So you can't put too much stock into these websites or in me. I mean, I'm not an authority. I'm just saying Hulk versus Thing. I have one in the other room I had to go grab. I just love this book. Giant Size Fantastic Four 1 or Giant Size Superstars 1. It's a Hulk versus Thing cover as well from 1974. And I just love it. So there's that one. But this website does say this next book is a key. The Thing and the Yancey Street Gang, which was a gang of tormentors in the Fantastic Four comic book. Stan Lee created them along with Jack Kirby. They're just like a bunch of hoods on the street that taunt the Thing and make fun of him as he's walking down the street, and they heckle him. But this is the first appearance of Machine Smith, formerly Mr. Fear. So that is listed as a key. And did I say, I don't think I did give you the release date. I keep wanting to say air date. I'm so used to TV shows. October 3rd, 1978. The previous one was September 5th, 78. All right, we'll take a break with issue 50. Here's 48, The Thing and the Jack of Hearts, October 31st, 1978. Halloween Day, 1978. Did you know, little trivia, WKRP in Cincinnati debuted a couple weeks into this month, or in September 1978. September, I want to say 19th, 1970. Anyway, the Turkeys Away classic Thanksgiving episode of WKRP in Cincinnati hit on October 30th, 1978, before Halloween. I always thought that was interesting how CBS scheduled that particular episode. And that's one I think that was taped before a live studio audience, so it shouldn't have been a production issue where they have to add special effects, so it took a long time to produce and post-production. I just thought that was a network screw-up. I just think that's a fun fact. It's not a negative fun fact. It's just kind of weird that the Thanksgiving episode aired prior to Halloween 78. But anyway, so this is from Halloween Day 1978. The Thing and the Jack of Hearts with a byline, War on the Waterfront. Here is issue 49, The Thing and Doctor Strange, from November 28th, 1978. From around Thanksgiving 78. Or after it, just after. Now here's number 50. I love this book from January 2nd, 1979. I don't think I mentioned this, and I should have. When The Thing was introduced, he was muddy in appearance. He wasn't a pile of rocks yet. The artist Jack Kirby evolved the character into a pile of rocks. There's issue 50, where The Thing goes back in time, courtesy of Dr. Doom's time machine, and confronts himself. Only one shall survive. This is a John Byrne issue. I love it. It's not worth a lot. It should be, but good for you. If you don't have it, it's not worth a whole lot. You can scoop it up. It's worth every penny. It's a fun issue. Great story. Let me open up the splash page for you, and then I'll take a break and look at your comments and play a video or something. This is a great copy I have. It's like, it's unread. It's like perfect. With John Byrne, who wrote it as well, with Joe Sinnott, one of my favorite inkers, inking John Byrne, which he did in the Fantastic Four early 200 issues, like starting with, I think, 209, introduced Herbie the Robot in the comic book from the cartoon, the 80s version, not the 1967. Get this, in the cartoon, it was deemed that the Human Torch might be a fire risk, like that kids, like you saw in that Gary Coleman movie, I played a trailer over the very top of the show, would start fires trying to imitate the Human Torch and would burn up their homes. So the network deemed, we can't have the Human Torch in the 1970s, late 1970s Fantastic Four Saturday morning cartoon, although we had him in the 1967 version. So they created a new character to replace him, Herbie the Robot. And John Byrne drew Herbie the Robot in Fantastic Four, starting with issue, I want to say 209. Yeah, 209 of the Fantastic Four. He's on the cover and everything, but I just love this book. And Reed is trying to cure the Thing. He was always trying to cure Ben Grimm of being the Thing. And it's just an awesome story, awesome artwork. It's just so underrated. Let me see if well, I won't look it up. The value, I know it's not worth much. It should be. So let's take a break. Let's take a break and get caught up on chat. Let me see what clip I can play. I know I pulled some other non-comic book stuff. Let's see, we've gone almost 2 hours. I did say to Mr. Gutfeld I'd do some trivia. I don't want to not do trivia. I'll just play a commercial. You know what I'll do? Let me play a little clip of Chris Reeve from the 80s, the late 80s, post Superman. This is, I think, right around the same year he had Superman 4 was released in 1987. It's 3 minutes long because I'm going to see that movie Wednesday night, the biopic. I think it'll be on CNN, but I want to see it on the big screen. And I heard critics, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Let's listen to this one critic talking about it today. And but let's listen or watch and listen to. Let's watch Chris Reeve. This won't be on audio platforms. I keep out of habit saying let's listen and watch. Let's watch Chris Reeve for about 3 minutes talking about playing Superman.
Mr. Bingham.
What's the matter? Mr. Bingham! That's the emergency button, Mr. Bingham!
So you're scared of heights. Is that to get you away from the Superman character? Is that why they tossed that in for the elevator scene, or what?
No, that was always in the script way before they cast me. That was always just part of the program. But I think that gag, it just is a coincidence that there's a payoff because I'm known for Superman.
Did you think Superman held you back as being taken seriously as an actor? Because they go, well, he's Superman.
It didn't hold me back at all because I've always thought I was terrific. But
no, I mean in getting parts, you know.
May have held other people back.
Yeah, in getting parts, it didn't.
Well, you never know what you don't get. You know, it's like you're carefully protected from that information. I mean, I don't know what parts I haven't gotten because I'm very grateful that I've gotten a lot of wonderful parts and will continue to do so. Because I mean, the true story is that I'd been an actor since I was 15 years old, and I went to the same drama schools and with the same teachers as all the people like, you know, Bill Hurt and Kevin Kline and Mandy Patinkin and David Stiers, and we all hung out with the same teachers and did the same work. I just happened to do this weird departure, which is to play Superman, and now I've come back to the quote legitimate work. So I obviously see myself very differently than maybe the media does or the public at large.
You know you're a workaholic. You're playing a good guy 24 hours a day.
Are we going to see Superman anymore, or are you going to?
You may, but I don't know.
Let him go back to Krypton, or
I don't know who'll be. I don't know who'll be playing the part.
Oh, really?
You may see Superman, but I don't know whether it would be with me or not. I mean, I hear talk about they're going to make a Superman 5, but no one's mentioned it to me or to people that I work with.
No truth to the rumor that Don Knotts may get the role.
What a breakthrough! No, I think if they're going to do another Superman movie, it just really, a lot of effort has got to be made to put the quality back on the screen. And I'm not sure, I mean, the kind of money that was spent to make the quality of Superman 1 back in 1977, those dollars don't go far enough in 1987 or 88 to bring the quality. And I mean, that's really the problem, that the audience does smell it like that. If you haven't really put something great up on the screen, it's just not going to go.
What's your next project?
Well, no, the next thing I'm going to do is right after I finish Summer in Smoke, which is mid-April, I'm going to go do a 4-hour miniseries for NBC, which is your network, and I'm going to do a continuation of the story of The Great Escape. It picks up where the movie left off.
Right.
And tells the true story of the successful efforts to bring some of those Gestapo officers who ordered the executions to justice.
Great interview. Hey, I have to acknowledge some chat really quickly, and I'm going to see the Chris Reeves story. We'll talk about that in a minute. Rick Clark asks, watching on Facebook Live, hey, Chance Bartels, did you ever show little Joey Stivick's tiny PP on your show? I did, and I gave you full credit. I didn't know, actually, I didn't open the box. I didn't show it. He gave me a Joey Stivick, very nice gift, toy, I was going to say doll, action figure. Well, it is a doll. A toy that is Archie Bunker's grandson. And it actually wets. And I showed it. I gave you full credit to the whole thing when I got it that week. And I think I told you, I wrote you about it. But yeah, I'll bring it up again. I might be able to get it tonight. And Rick says, yeah, Marvel and DC were ripping each other off. And Tracy had said years ago, I had a Wonder Woman #1, and I cried because I lost it. Holy cow. You mean by Moulton from the 40? Oh, my God. It's been forever, and I was only 12 then. That loss still hurts me. Oh my gosh, yeah, I can't imagine. Like, I might as well jump ahead to this, to your point, and show you this picture of my mom holding an early Action Comics Superman 1. There's my mom. I'm going to get a clear picture of this. Hang on a second. Let me temporarily remove your comment. Yeah, see, you can't, we're looking for the physical picture. That's one that Mom had taken with her phone, but so you can see the cover better. But there she is with my grandma with an early Superman Action Comics comic book. And then here's my Aunt Jen, her older sister, with Whiz Comics. This came up on PlayQuest on Keebler No Sugarcoating the Truth's YouTube channel when we played trivia. But there is an early Whiz Comics, which was Captain Marvel pre-DC. Fawcett Comics published that. I have other pictures to show, but yeah, I feel your pain very much so, Tracy, about that. How did you lose the book? Did your mom throw it away? Grandma throw it away? Rick Clark says comics were weekly. No, but some were bi-weekly. Amazing Spider-Man went to every other week in 1988, summer of 88. For a couple summers, they were bi-weekly. Now they're weekly, of course, in the funnies in the Sunday paper, but comic books, no, they're monthly. Did I say weekly? Hello to Ricky's Radio. What's up, my brother? I check in on you all the time, man. Your after work sessions, good YouTube channel. And Kay Moonen, or Tracy said to Kay Moonen in the chat, as an adult, it still haunts me losing that Wonder Woman #1. Well, what happened? And I'll bring that up tonight. Don't let me forget, if you're still around, I'll show what I'm talking about. The Joey Stivic toy, the toy Archie Bunker grandson. The Thing and Fury is beautiful. Yeah, that Nick cover. I know I'm behind on the chat, but I know people on the replay crew will reference what you're saying. Chance, time to change the bags on all those. Yeah, they look a little, I know. You could tell they get a little Ripley because they've done their job. A comic book, here's a little sneak peek to issue 51. And this is a desired book, by the way. We'll get to it later. But yeah, this one isn't so Ripley. If it's Ripley, if it looks wavy, that means that it has absorbed the agents that were used to color the comic book, which can turn the pages yellow over time, unless you have an acid-free plastic bag and board, or if you slab it from CGC or another grading company. Rick Clark, I sold a #1 Submariner on eBay last spring from 1968. And how much did you get for it? Do you recall? And what was the condition like? Was it raw, meaning ungraded? Was it the one with the light blue cover he's holding? I have it, but I can't get to it. It's buried, but it's got to be, unless it was because there is a limited series Submariner #1. I'm assuming you mean the vintage Submariner 1 from the Silver Age, the tail end of the Silver Age from 1968, where it says big premiere issue and a starburst on the cover. Let me know if you're still out there. I'm behind on the chat. Pardon my spelling. I'm trying to type on my iPad. No worries, Tracy. We're all friends here. It's okay. Came in and said to Tracy, I'm certainly lucky that the ones I lost are neither rare nor insanely sought after. The price on something like your Wonder Woman #1 is pricey, to say the least. Rest in peace, fistfulofradio.com. What does that mean? It's not down. It's still up and running. Hang on, I better check that out. What the hell are you talking about, rest in peace, Fistful of Radio? Let me do this real quick. That's my radio station. It's still up. Don't you psych me out like that, Rick, you son of a gun. Ain't nothing happening to my station, Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta. All right, let's see here. Rocky, said Tracy. Rocky, yeah, because I was talking about Sly Stallone, right, when he played Skyhawk in Guardians of the Galaxies Volume 2 and Volume 3. That's funny. Typing on my iPad is getting me tonight. No worries. Keebler says, man thing sounds like every man I've ever met. And she laughs. Keebler says, Tracy, you're good. It's better than my iPhone in terms of the typos. And they're laughing back at each other. Danny State in South Carolina says, LOL, She-Hulk sounds like almost every woman I've dated. Well. Tracy had said, I love WKRP in Cincinnati. It was my favorite. Mine too. And it was kind of based on FM, a movie that predates WKRP in Cincinnati, as well as a real radio station in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and real radio personalities in Atlanta. But if not for the movie FM starring the late, great Martin Mull, I don't know if you would have had a WKRP in Cincinnati greenlit to be a sitcom by CBS. I don't know. That's conjecture on my part, but I'm probably right. Keebler says about Christopher Reeve, I loved him in Somewhere in Time. Yes, that's a great romantic movie. Awesome movie. Yeah, from the director of Jaws 2, Jeanette Schwartz, and the director of Supergirl. That wasn't one of the most popular movies. The international cut is much better of Supergirl. In America, we got screwed. They mercilessly edited that film. There's a director's cut. It was in a 2000, a DVD from the year 2000. From the year 2000, that gave a director's cut and an international cut of 1984 Supergirl starring Helen Slater. And the movie makes more sense. It flows better. It's a better film. Peter O'Toole's in it. Anyway, I digress. It's right here. Oh, is everything going to fall? No. Okay. This is it. This is what I'm referring to. This is the DVD of Supergirl by Anchor Bay from the year 2000. And inside is a really cool, look at the discs. Look at the booklet. Let me show you this booklet. I know I'm digressing, but it's got a really cool booklet inside. This is a limited edition. And there's so many great scenes that were left on the cutting room floor in America. And it's not a great film by any means, but I always liked Faye Dunaway. Oh, look, there's a crossword puzzle in there. Supergirl. I love the music by Jerry Goldsmith. And fun fact, Lucy Lane is in this film. And you know who was supposed to play her? Demi Moore. I thought Demi Moore would have been perfect. She kind of was like Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder around that time on the big screen with a raspy voice. But she opted to do a movie called Blame It on Rio. Demi Moore did, instead of Supergirl. So they cast someone else as Lucy Lane, the younger kid sister of Lois Lane. And look, there's 50,000 pressings. Someone joked, oh, that's not so limited. Actually, it is. Actually, it is. If you know anything about how many DVDs are pressed, my copy is 32,190 of 50,000 total copies of the extended limited edition Supergirl on DVD from the year 2000. Okay. There's that little story. And Danny Staten had said, I love any comic book with a 10-cent cover. I agreed. 10 or 12 cent for me. Oh, and thank you. She goes, Mama, your mom is so cute. Yeah, I like her with her pigtails. She's one of the best. We're all biased, aren't we? Doesn't everybody say my mom's the best? But I can back it up with students she taught. She taught 5th grade before she retired. Now she's in the antique business, has done that for years along with teaching, but she's retired from teaching public school 5th grade at Soap Creek Elementary, and she still is in contact with so many former students. So I have that as proof to back up she's a pretty special lady. All right, so, and today's my dad's birthday. I'm not trying to make this about me. We did a brunch, and last weekend we did a family thing, and happy birthday to my father. We had just think the world of him. So let's see. I don't remember what happened to Wonder Woman #1. It has been decades. Okay. Wow. Probably a move, maybe. It sucks when you move and you lose stuff. Joe Gutfeld says, I have the whole Tech War comic book series. Tech War starred William Shatner, and I think he was an executive producer of Tech War on the USA Cable Network. It's based on the William Shatner novels, right? He wrote the novels. There you go. See, I should have kept reading before I interjected. Should have read your full comment first before I opened my big fat mouth. Kay Moonen said to Danny Staten, comics back then, the 10-cent covers is referring to his comment about that, had great covers and stories. The modern stuff is embarrassingly bad. And hey, some people have been caught using AI to draw covers. Talk about embarrassing. Danny Staten said, I sold my Submariner 1 2 years ago. It was a 9.6 graded. I got $4,500 in cash. That's a good price, and that's a great grade, and you sold it at the right time. When there was anticipation about how he would be portrayed in the movies, and they made him an Aztec. They didn't stay true to the comic book origin, and that was a bit of a blunder, in my opinion. Joe Gutfeld said Helen Slater was hot. Yes, and let me tell you, she did a show called Drop Dead Diva on the Lifetime Network. I was doing stand-in work on that episode, and I was playing a juror, and she's in that episode, but unfortunately, and that's not unfortunate because I really liked working with Rhoda, the actress who played Rhoda, who was in Blame It on Rio. Valerie Harper. Valerie Harper played the judge, and I was like the foreman juror. And I was doing stand-in work on that episode on the side as well. They had me doing 2 things on that particular episode, but no, it wasn't that episode. I was a stand-in in another Drop Dead Diva episode. All right, let me back up. I was playing a foreman, a juror in that episode. Valerie Harper was the judge in the Helen Slater episodes. Helen Slater scenes were filmed on another day when I wasn't there. It wasn't a courtroom scene. I wanted to meet her on set. Never happened. Anyway, but that was back in 2010. All right, so Super Women is so nice, says Tracy. Happy birthday to Chance's Pops. Thank you. I mean, on his behalf, thank you. Why am I saying thank you? It's not my birthday. And Kay Moonen said, happy birthday to your father. Thanks. We tried to show him a good time today and last weekend. Happy birthday, Mr. Bartell, says Tracy. Thank you. Okay, we're caught up. Now we can resume. We have 50 more issues to go. Thank you seriously for those nice comments about Dad's birthday. And then back in 96, Joe Gutfeld says it was my sister's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to your sister, Joe. On September 20th, my dad's birthday, 1996, I got on the air with Tom Snyder. I'm not going to play that clip again. It's on my YouTube channel. I talked with Malcolm McDowell. I asked him, what did it feel like to kill off Captain James T. Kirk in Star Trek Generations? I got a big laugh out of Tom Snyder and a shocked look from the actor who killed him off. Basically, he said, I picked up the check, and if they want to do it again, just bring them back. And I asked him about Time After Time. I made a comment, I said, I loved you in Time After Time as well, directed by Nicholas Meyer. Time After Time released in 79 with Mary Steenburgen. Malcolm McDowell, that's how they met. They fell in love. They got married. Didn't last, just like Martin Landau, Barbara Bain. Oh, and on my regular show on Friday the 13th, September 13th, I forgot to mention that's the fictional date. The moon was blasted out of Earth's orbit in space 1999. First episode and pilot titled Breakaway. I dropped the ball. I went over 4 hours, and I'm a big space 1999 geek, and I forgot to mention that point. How dumb is that? So let me hurry along so we can try to sneak in some trivia before it gets too late. It's 9:31. Okay, so let's get to issue 51 out of 100 of Marvel 2-in-1. And this issue hit newsstands on January 30th, 1979. I love this book. Let me see. The internet gods do not. The heck with them. Another John Byrne issue. I love it. All right, this costume of Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel in the movies is my favorite. They tried to retool the character to boost sales of the book, and Dave Cockrum came up with a new costume design. This design, I love it with the sachet. You saw a glimpse of it in Ms. Marvel, the streaming series on Disney Plus. A mean girl wore this outfit in a scene at it wasn't a high school prom. I forget what the function was, a high school function. But this is a really cool costume. I hope it turns up in the movies. I love the long gloves. But that was introduced in issue 20 of Ms. Marvel, the comic book. And that's what I'm going to feature. I didn't write that one out. Ms. Marvel lasted 23 issues, and actually more than that. That's one I got to write down to feature in every issue ever made. There's issue 51, mint copy. It's not worth much. I just love this book. Look at the back. Battlestar Galactica, full color t-shirt ad for only $4.99 each. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. It's not a John Byrne art book at all. It's Frank Miller, who wound up doing Batman The Dark Knight in 1985. And Daredevil, he created Elektra in Daredevil issue 168, which I have in my collection. So it's Frank Miller art, but it's a great issue. All right, let me I sound like Peter Brady with his voice changing there. Let's move it along. I did say that the date that was published, so we can move on from that. Here's issue 52, The Thing and Moon Knight. Moon Knight was brought to live action on Disney Plus not too long ago. Okay, man, it's an awesome live stream tonight. I'll catch the rest on the replay. See you all again. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend to you, Kay Moonen. Thanks for being here. It was a long one. And Keebler saying, take care to you. Oh, gosh, he's back to sniffing the comics. I love the way newsprint smells. I love the way it smells, whether it's the Sunday Funnies or a vintage comic book. So here's issue 52, The Thing and Moon Knight, mint condition, not graded, though. And the release date of this book was on March 6th, 1979. The Thing and Quasar, April 3rd, 1979. Oh, issue 52, the one Moon Knight. I won't pick it up. It was the first appearance of Crossfire. Ooh, that one has a little bit more value. I will back it up. This is a key book. I'm glad mine's in mint condition, near mint. Very fine, near mint. First appearance of Crossfire. High value, $50 or so. Hey, that's pretty good because the rest of these are like $5, $8, $10 books. So I'll take it. All adds up, but I'm not going to sell. So the next key is 53. This is the origin of Quasar. He originally was called Marvel Man. And it tells the story of how Marvel Man transformed into Quasar. So that's a minor key. This one's a bigger key. Not a tremendous key, but it's got Deathlock again. Issue 54. This is the first appearance of Titania, whom we've seen in the MCU. Davida DeVito, who later becomes Laviscus. God, I can't pronounce that. First appearance of the Screaming Mimi. The Screaming Mimi. That's what my niece and nephew call my mother, their grandmother, Mimi. She said, call me Mimi. Anyway, Screaming Mimi. First appearance of Pound Cakes and the first appearance of Letha. And this began the Pegasus Project, the saga of Project Pegasus. You see on the cover. Let me get it. High value. I don't believe this is low ball value, $55. I've seen this sell for a lot more than that. But that's a key. Marvel 2-in-1 copy, or Marvel 2-in-1 issue, I should say, issue 54. With Deathlock, who predated The Terminator by 10 years, James Cameron's The Terminator. Issue 55. Well, did I say when 54 hit the streets? I don't think I did. Issue 54, the key was May 1st, Mama's birthday, 1979. This hit on June 5th, 1979. The book I'm holding up, issue 55. The next one was June 3rd, 79. Oh, Giant Man. Yeah, Giant Man, who was Henry Pym originally. Ant-Man became Giant Man. Goliath became Giant Man. So he became the character I showed earlier for reference. Great cover. I love this cover. This is from June 3rd, 1979. I'm going to try to hurry it along to get caught up to issue 100. But this is The Thing, and The Thing battles Tundra, not a team up. They're fighting chaos at Project Pegasus. That's going to be a thing. The Project Pegasus chaos will be awesome once it's committed to live action. But there we go. Issue 56, June 3rd, 79. The Thing and Wundar, the Barbarian. No, I'm kidding. Wundar from August 7th, 1979. That's issue 57. Blasted by Claw, blinded by Solar, Ben, Quasar, and Giant Man battle on. Also within Project Pegasus, Wundar wakes, it says in the bottom corner there. Let me put it before the camera. There you are. Great cover. The battle, yeah. I thought that was cool. You must mean, well, they're all good. These are better issues. Now, here's issue 58. The Thing and Aquarian, not to be confused with Aquaman. Let me take my name off of there so you can see the books a little bit better. Why is that up there? It shouldn't be. Oh, I see why. Just do that. There's that. You can see everything a little bit clearer. Now, this particular issue, 58, hit on September 4th, 1979. Battlestar Galactica was off the air, but it was about to come back in the form of Galactica 1980. In January 1980, I believe, it was a winter replacement series in the middle of a 79-80 TV season, and the Ropers was just starting season 2 of that spinoff of Three's Company. The first season of the Ropers debuted during season 3, in the middle of season 3 of Three's Company, but I digress. Let me now look and see. Okay, and that 55 I showed you, that is a key. First appearance of Giant Man, formerly Black Goliath. I already said that. Okay. First appearance of 58. This one's a key, minor key. First appearance of Nth Man, like the letter N, N-T-H Man, Nth Man. Okay. Let's go on. This one's in bad shape. I have 2 copies, though. This is one I read as a kid. That's right. Issue 59 of Marvel 2-in-1. Not a key, thank goodness, but I like it as a take on the Towering Inferno movie, a movie I love. The Towering Infernos. The Thing and the Human Torch. And this bag doesn't need to be replaced, Keebs. It's Ripley. It's doing its job. But now here's the other copy I have. Yeah. Talking to my comic books like a psycho. This is in better shape. This is like near mint. Thank God I had 2. Here's what I like to do. I already talked about this last time in the last stream. I just hit my knee fiercely. There's a direct edition or editions that were put in 3-packs in stores like Target, retail stores. See how there's a diamond in the price tag area? It's a diamond, and there's a mark over the UPC symbol. This is a direct newsstand edition or comic book rack edition, if you will, which are harder to find in good condition. I like to have one of each, is my point. So, yes, this one's in rotten shape. There's some fold creasing there in the corner, in that corner, which I don't know if the camera will even pick it up. I can see it in the naked eye right there. But anyways, so that I like to have one of each. I'm a greedy collector. Okay, so issue 60 out of 100. Is anyone out there enjoying the art? I know Danny Staten has stated his opinion when he sees a cover that strikes his fancy. Tracy, I know you also stated the same. I love these covers. This is a key book. Here's issue 60. First appearance of Mrs. Impossible Man. Impossible Man, I have the first appearance of this character in 1963, first introduced in Fantastic Four issue 11, way back in the early 1960s. And he's kind of a whimsical character, right? He's an alien, a good alien. He's not a villain, but he does things mischievously by accident that causes problems. So this book first hit the public on November 6th, 1979. And like I said, it's a key because any first appearance is a key, Keebs and others. Those are the keys most collectors want. The first appearances. This is the first appearance of the Impossible Woman. All right, let's move on. Move on. My Southern accent is coming out again tonight. Here is the Thing in Starhawk again, played by Sylvester Stallone in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and 3. Minor key, first appearance of her, formerly Paragon, later becomes Starduster. Okay, so this is a minor key. I have it in mint condition, thankfully. It'll only go up in time. I'm going to show you something cool. One of my copies is very unique of one of these Marvel 2-in-1s. We'll get to it in a minute. It's very, very cool. I'll explain later. Okay, so did I say that the release date? I almost did it again and said air date, like a TV show. Release date was December 4th, 1979. So now we're going to move on to this one. Here is issue number 62. The Thing and Moondragon. From January 1st, 1980, New Year's Day, 1980. I remember New Year's Eve. I was a kid. Blondie performed Heart of Glass on Dick Clark's New Year's Eve on ABC. I'll never forget it because my friend who lived across the street, Robbie Gable, threw up in my bunk bed. We had 2 bunk beds, but they were taken down. They were side by side, not stacked up. He had too many Doritos. No alcohol was involved. We were kids, and he threw up all over the bed. He had too many Doritos and soda pop. Anyway. Had a flashback, and I heard he's in the CIA these days, but that's another. He has no social media footprint whatsoever. This guy, Robbie Gable, his younger sister Jennifer Gable, lived right across the street. Their dad was a dentist. Okay, anyway, Lake Fjord neighborhood. There is The Thing and Moondragon, January 1st, 1980, release date. Counter Earth. Let me see if this is a key. Only got 40 more issues to go, folks. So let's see. It is not. 62. Okay, 64 is the next key on my list here. Okay, so 60. Let me go on here. Issue 63 was released. This is a cool cover, Danny Staten, if you're still out there, on February 5th, 1980, where Adam Warlock is coming back from the dead. Check it out, man. Suffer not a warlock to live. Here lies Adam Warlock. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. And that book hit on February 5th, 1980. I know I've already said that. If I repeat myself, it's only because I'm stupid. So let me get on here. Here was a key. All right. According to my list, issue 64, March 4th, 1980. The Thing and Stingray. Let me look at my key list. New Serpent Squad. Oh, this is a really hot key. I mean, it's $100 or more in mint condition. Ungraded, graded more than that. New Serpent Squad team roster. Anaconda, Black Mamba, Death Adder, Sidewinder, final panel. Okay, so on the final panel, we see this new Serpent Squad team. Holy smokes. And it says, here's a note from July 2024. Giancarlo Esposito will portray Sidewinder, leader of the Serpent Society in Captain America Brave New World. So this book's going to go up, up, up as that movie approaches. It's going to be released on Valentine's Day 2025 with Harrison Ford playing General Thunderbolt Ross and the Red Hulk. It's been shown in the trailer, so I'm not betraying anything. I never will. But yeah, so holy smokes. So this book's going to be a hot one. Let's open it up and see that last panel they're talking about. Shall we? I think that's exciting. Exciting. I can say G's. I can see that. I can say the letter G. So let's open it up and see. Oh, it's minty fresh, folks. Smells good. Looks good. Oh, there we go. And this looks like George Perez artwork. Holy smokes. So this is bad to the bone. I've never read this. I've got to read it now. It's got to be George Perez art, and I don't see the little credits page. It must be. Sometimes they'll put it in the center of the story or on the last. Here's an ad with O.J. Simpson, animated form, selling boots. Man, it's easy. Nobody puts leather together like Dingo. I wet dingoes myself. That's where I hide my knife. I'm sorry. Too soon. But let me see. Prologue. Okay, prologue. So let me get to the page that says gives credit to the artists and writers. It's got to be George Perez art. It's a beautiful copy. I love that. Here we go. Written by Mark Gruenwald, credited for creating my character, Madcap. I called him Happy. Okay, George Perez and Gene Day did the art. Yep. Mark Gruenwald and Ralph Macchio. Yeah, they teamed up and wrote this. He was defending Gruenwald on Geek to Me Radio recently, Ralph Macchio, a St. Louis radio show, Sunday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 1 hour show. Geek to Me Radio on KTRS, St. Louis, a huge FM radio station in that market. So there's that. Good. That's a key. And I got to change that baggie. It's doing its job though. Okay, let me try to hurry it along. Good. I love discovering keys. There was a guy on eBay. It kind of irritated me, but it's kind of cute. The name of his handle. Only the keys, please. It irritates me because I love comics because I love the art. I love the stories. It irritates me, people that just want the keys, and I get it. You're not a real comic book lover and collector, in my opinion. And there's no wrong opinion ever, in my opinion. That's kind of like that Star Trek classic episode, I Mud, where they have this, cause this android to self-destruct because it says, I never lie, but I'm lying. If you never lie, then you're lying now, or how can you tell the truth? And anyway, whatever, I digress. All right, there's the thing in Triton, who's one of the Inhumans. Let me look this up. And see if it's a key. It is. First full team appearance of the Serpent Squad. Anaconda, Black Mamba. Yeah. I already said all them. Sidewinder. Okay. Not worth as much as the early. That's the crazy thing. Like the first full appearance is worth more generally than the cameo appearance. But in this case, the cameo appearance, according to this website, keycollectorcomics.com, is worth more than the full appearance. Makes no sense. It's usually the other way around. Oh, I don't think I mentioned the release date. Let me get back to there. This hit April Fool's Day, 1980. And the previous issue, in case I didn't say it, was March 4th, 1980. The more valuable of the two. Next up. Oh, good one. The Thing and the Scarlet Witch. Oh, I got to do my review of the new, so I could call it a spinoff show of WandaVision. It's called, it was Agatha All Along, with Mrs. Hahn playing Agatha Harkness. But there's that book. There is issue 66, The Serpent Crown Affair. I like that cover. Look at that, Danny. You like monsters and creepy crawly things. I'll get to the comments in a minute, folks. I'll take a break with issue 70. How about that real quick to get back to the comments? This is from May 6, 1980. Okay, let's move along with issue number 67, Passport to Oblivion, June 3rd, 1980. This show's going way longer than I thought, 2.5 hours and counting. But I am doing 112 issues versus 81. The first installment of this new live streaming series. Every issue ever made is what I've coined it. Weren't doing as many books. So there's that one, issue number 67, and it's in mint condition. This Marvel comic could be worth $2,500 to you. It's funny, I have some that are worth that or more that have that on the top. That's always a trip. I love that when it came true. All right, so next key is issue 71. That'll be after we take a break. Okay, so now I can just focus on you guys and gals. There's that. Here is the Thing and the Angel, who's an X-Man. You saw him. You ever see X-Men 3, The Last Stand? It got panned by fans and critics alike. I didn't mind it. It wasn't as good as X2, but it showed a little bit of the origin, along with X-Men First Class years later in 2011, 2012, of Angel. And he's kind of the, they really did a good job with the origin where he's just picked on and his wings sprout and he goes flying through the air. But there's the Thing and Angel. So there's that. And this book hit the Thing on July 1st, 1980. 69. August 5th, 1980 was when this hit. Guardians of the Galaxy are back, taking on The Fog. The movie The Fog had long been out by John Carpenter, but anyway, there's that. The Thing and the battles the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're not teaming up, they're fighting. All right, so we can take a break. Let me get to the comments here and see what's going on. That was from August 5th, 1980. I know I already said that. Let me just look at the comments. This is going to be a mini break, not a long break. Let me just get to the comments. Okay, let's see. Hey, Michelle. Snark and Sass is in the house. Let's see here. Let me get back to where I left off. Awesome live stream. Oh, yeah. The people are saying goodbye to Kay Moonen. Oh, gosh, she's back to sniffing the comments. Okay, great cover. Yeah, I put that one on the screen. Joe Gutfeld, watching on Facebook Live, says, I have some old Spider-Man comics from the early 1980s. Really? Will you sell them or trade me? Can we do a deal? I'd love to do that. Let me know the issue numbers. I know I have all those, but I'm always looking to buy comics. Are they for sale? That's so sweet. The Thing and Aquarian. Yep. Joe Gutfeld also said in some of the comics has an advertisement of the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends cartoon series. Yes, they do. I like that show, and that's on Disney Plus. Keebler had said, big time, you need a permanent bag replacer. Yeah, I know. I buy bags constantly. This collection I bought last April, I'm still in the process of rebagging all those and boarding them. A lot of those books didn't even have boards, and that's fine, and I'm fixing that. Hello to you, Michelle, watching on Facebook Live. Joe Gutfeld said both the Mets and the Braves are losing. Right. Well, your Mets are up. So that, I can't say that's good. I'm a Braves fan, but, friendly rivalry, I do love it, says Tracy. The artwork. Let's see. Joe says, I think I have a comic of Spider-Man and the Thing. Very cool. That could have been in Marvel Team Up, which I will cover all 150 issues of that down the line, because they teamed up in his book, Marvel 2-in-1, and Spidey's book, Marvel Team Up. So I wonder which one you're talking about. Danny Staten said, I was 15 in 1980. Yeah, when I was referring to New Year's Eve, 79 into 80. Yeah. I'll never forget that Heart of Glass. I was just enamored with Deborah Harry, Blondie, performing that on New Year's Rockin' Eve with Dick Clark way back then when I was a kid. Keebler says, I won't say how old I was in 1980. I don't want y'all to feel old. Well, that'd make you feel old, not me. Hey, man, in my mind, people say I have a mind of a child. I guess I demonstrate that every stream. I was 13 in 1980, says Tracy. All the artwork just looks so cool and so fresh. It's like a brand new art painting. I'm glad you appreciate it. I know you're not a comic book gal or collector, but I like that you have an open mind to learn about this stuff and appreciate it. That's what streaming is all about and what this show is all about, the Nostalgic Podblast. Nice chance, says Tracy's Fractured History of More YouTube channel. Keebler says, I just don't see the Thing being a Valentine movie. Not The Thing, it's Captain America. Chance, you're too funny. I wonder what you're referencing there. Danny Staten says, I used to watch this awesome show called Stingray about a guy in a Corvette. Yeah, I know the show. Sorry, guys, I need to run. Have a great weekend. Same to you, Tracy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your contributions as always. And Keebler said, I agree. Someone just after the key books. Yeah. Tells me they are just after the money and they're going to try and pay the least amount and resell. Yeah. I mean, it's a free market. I don't want to be a hypocrite, but just, you're not a real collector. You're not, and hate is a strong word. Take it back. I don't like people that are brand new, that just think they know it all and they know nothing about the stories, but whatever. I'm a forgiving person. That's the trait everyone should have, forgiveness, I think. Yep, cool cover. Okay, we're all caught up because I said I'll get to the chat and I didn't. Well, I just did. So, all right, now we can get back to the books. We got 30 more to go. Let's try to wrap this thing. Here's issue 70. Marvel 2-in-1. I like that cover too. That's a cool gun cover. I thought I saw the last of these creeps long ago, but I was wrong, says the Thing. And let me see when this book hit the streets. Street date, September 2nd, 1980. That year on TV, there was a strike. There was an actor strike, and so all the shows were delayed to October. Late October, having their premieres. Chips, The Incredible Hulk, Season 4, Prometheus, Parts 1 and 2. That was a great two-part Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby and Jack Colvin and Lou Ferrigno. Story where this meteorite came down and affected David Banner because there's radiation in the meteorite. And he was stuck halfway between being the creature and a human being. And this secret government organization called Prometheus mistook the Hulk for an alien. And they captured him. It was very dramatic. Kenneth Johnson, who's been a guest on my show, The Nostalgic Podblast, directed and wrote that episode and produced it. And he hadn't done a new Incredible Hulk direction job in over 2 years at that point in time. He did the season 2 2-hour premiere Married, where Banner went to Hawaii and fell in love and got married. Tragic episode. And it had Mino Police in it. Mino Palouse. Oh, I better not put that out there. Somebody gonna copy me and do a video on him. Well, that's their right. But Mino Palouse is the older brother of the actress Solio Moon Fry, who played Punky Brewster. And he was in Voyagers, this kid. He had curly hair. You saw this kid, but he was in that episode in a brief scene. He had a good little moment in Married. That was a great two-hour episode of the Hulk, recut to 2 parts in syndication. So let's move on to issue 71. Were any of those a key? Let me look at my key list real quick. 71 is a key. I have 2 copies of it. Oh, good. I have a newsstand and a direct edition, which I like to have. It's not a very valuable book. First appearance of Maelstrom, an inhuman and deviant hybrid. First appearance of Gronk. First appearance of Phobius. First appearance of Helio. Very cool. All right. Well, I got 2 of them. So, but I'm not a dealer. This is a key also. First appearance of Death Urge, the Herald of Oblivion. Okay. It's not a huge key. And this book hit on November 4th, 1980. I think November was when the Hulk season 4 started, delayed a couple months because of the strike. And I always thought it was weird because Kenneth Johnson said they filmed it in April 1980. I'm like, that's pretty early for a season. I guess they anticipated the strike. And so they went into production early. I never made that connection until just now because of the strike. All right. So issue 73, he said in an audio commentary and on my show. No, it was an audio commentary on the Blu-ray of The Incredible Hulk or the DVD season 4. of Prometheus, a 2-part episode. It wasn't a 2-hour, it was an actual 2-parter filmed, as a 2-hour one, but it aired on CBS as a 2-parter. I digress. December 2nd, 1980 is when issue 73, The Thing and Quasar hit. Trapped on a World of Dinosaurs. Danny Staten, I know you love monsters, and this one might strike your fancy if you're still out there. Okay, so let me see when this hit. December 2nd, 1980. Wait a second. Did I do 72? I guess I did. 72. 73. Here's issue 74 of Marvel 2-in-1, which hit on December 30th, 1980, just before the new year of 1981 at that point in time. Let's see here. Yep. Issue 74. Oh, it's a Christmas cover. Ooh. Oh, special Xmas issue. I don't like the term Xmas. I think it's disrespectful. I'm not terribly religious or anything. I mean, nothing against it, but I always thought that was kind of weird. But I guess for space they'd do that, but whatever. Anyway, there's Puppet Master's back, Alicia Master's dad, special Christmas issue. Let's see what it says in my notes. Well, it hit after Christmas. They blew it with the deadline again. This hit December 30th, 1980, not prior to the 25th of December, 1980, but whatever. I mean, a lot of people, the Wise Men and all that, Christmas really goes on for days after the 25th. All right, so December 30th, 1980. Let me make sure. Oh, it's not a key. I knew that. I looked it up already. Here is a double-sized issue 75, The Thing and the Avengers, taking on Blastar. This is from February 3rd, 1981. So they skipped January 81 entirely by a few days. All right, so let's move along. Try to wrap it up. Here's issue 76, The Thing and Iceman, from March 3rd, 1981. Sorry about the glare. There, if I tilt it, that's a lot better. And Giant Man's back, formerly Black Goliath. The Thing and Man Thing, there's the guy who appeared in issue 43, and in the very first issue, issue 1, the character, the Man Thing. As I lay down, as I lay me down to die. That makes no sense. I was trying to make sure I'm reading it right. As I lay me down to die. That's very awkwardly put. The Thing and the Macabre Man Thing. I remember Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, had something called Movie Macabre. WATL 36 picked it up, and they would show movies that were not censored very much in terms of violence and even nudity back then. That was like 1982, 83 on WATL channel 36, Atlanta, Georgia. Movie Macabre, hosted by Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Cassandra Peterson. So there's that book. Did I give the release date? Let's just say it again. I don't think I did. Tuesday, March 24th, 1981. You're going to like this coming up, Danny Staten. I got one just for you if you're still out there. Issue 78, The Thing and Wonder Man. That is the stupidest character, Wonder Man. We know of Wonder Woman. He was introduced in Avengers. I have it, issue 9. He's just a nothing character. Look at him in his leisure suit. They re-envisioned the character for the 70s. So dumb in this red leisure suit. I just think it's a terrible name for a character, Wonder Man. This is from Tuesday, March 24th, 1981. I've never liked this character. No, I'm sorry, April 28th, 81. I read the wrong issue. I read the one for 77. April 28th, 1981, issue 78. Let's move along. That issue stinks. I've never read it, so you know what? The art doesn't look great either. I shouldn't prejudge it. But here is The Thing and the Blue Diamond, issue 79 of Marvel 2-in-1 from May 26, 1981. Let me make sure it's showing up right. Oh, it's not. There's a glare. Okay. Here is issue 80. The Ghost Rider's back in issue 80 of Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing versus Ghost Rider Death Race. That reminds me of a movie, Death Race 2000, which starred Sly Stallone's from 1975 Roger Corman movie. I've talked about it, where it's like I guess it is a dark comedy, you'd say, more than a horror movie, where there's a race in the future in the year 2000, I believe, where you get more points for hitting kids because they can evade cars and less for elderly people that are slow. Terrible thing. But a very notable movie, nevertheless. Okay, so there's that. We're into the 80s now, as you can see. We're in the home stretch just about. Here's issue 81, The Thing and the Submariner with MODOK. And this issue hit 81 on July 28th, 1981. There's that book. All right. Here's issue 82, The Thing and Captain America. These are getting to the nothing burger kind of books. I'm sorry, just because the artwork isn't that great. And it was towards the end of the run, but there's Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Captain America. Giant Man's back. Here's the one Danny Staten would be interested in. Because it's The Thing. Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing confronts the power of Sasquatch, who was a member of Alpha Flight, a team of mutants in the Great White North, who were introduced in X-Men issues 120 and 121, respectively. But their leader was introduced way back in X-Men issue 109, the Guardian. And he got killed in Alpha Flight issue 12, a special double issue, rather early on. That's when John Byrne was writing, drawing, in terms of the pencils and inks, Alpha Flight. But there's the Sasquatch. Sasquatch is Stevie B or Moog's out there. Or you, Danny Staten, for that matter. But he's a good guy. Welcome to Canada, Thing. I hope to make your stay interesting. All right. Here's issue 84 continuing. There's Sasquatch on that cover as well, with Alpha Flight, the rest of his teammates. The world's first Canadian super team, Alpha Flight. John Byrne was from Canada, so that's why he created them. Wolverine's Canadian. Logan. Here is Marvel 2-in-1, The Thing and Spider-Woman. See, there she has the long dark hair. We showed her with the skull cap earlier in the issues 30, 31, 30, that saga where Alicia was turned into a spider monster, but a nacrid monster. The final fate of Giant Man. All right, so there's that. Okay, move along. Now this one is a key. Got two copies of it. Oh, they're both newsstand. Ooh, and I got a really special book to show you from my collection. Let me just get situated. Okay. They say this is a key on the website. This is The Thing and Sandman. Sandman is a villain of Spider-Man. You saw him in Spider-Man 3 by Sam Raimi. He can change his molecules and harden as hard as diamonds, his sand properties, make a big fist. But there he is having a beer with the Thing, Ben Grimm. Let me look at my notes as to why this is a special book. And I didn't mention the release date to those other books. All right, hang on. The one, oh God, 84, issue 84 was October 27th, 1981. And that's the one with Alpha Flight. The one before that was September 22nd, 81. The one with Sasquatch. Issue 85 was November 24th, 81. This one's December 29th, 81. Issue 86. And the key aspect of it is what? Origin of Sandman. Okay, big deal. So the rest of these I don't think are key. So now I'm going to X out of there and hurry this thing along. There you go. Okay, that I like that cover. He's just having a brewski, and the Impossible Man is back. It's me. The return of the Impossible Man, jokester, prankster. And there's my two copies. That's an upgrade that I bought. This is one I bought off the rack. I guess I would have been 10 years old at the time. Let's see. And I'll get to the... Oh, I'm not going to make you drink. I won't even say it. But there's issue 86 from December 29th, 81. Yeah, I was like 10. Now here, oh, this isn't the special one. It's the next one. Okay, but this is a cool one. I think this cool cover. Micro World, The Thing and Ant-Man. Let me look at the date on this one. This one was released on January 26th, 1982. The price was 60 cents. You know, I should have noted, but you can play it back in the replay when the price went up from 50 cents to 60 cents. I failed to do that. I'm going to try to improve each stream. I do a comic book stream. I'll make sure I note that. But you can probably notice it yourself, right? But there it is, January 26, 1982. Reminds me of when The Thing in issues 92, 93, 94, Fantastic Four back in the late 60s, 1969, 1970, wound up being a prize fighter on an alien world. But there's that issue. Now here's the special one. This is The Thing and She-Hulk. Let me get you the air date. The air date, I did it again. The release date. I just clicked too far. This is from February 23rd, 1982. The previous issue, 87, was from January 26, 82. This one's from February 23rd, 82. The Hulk and She-Hulk. You know why this is special? Not only is it mint condition, but I'm going to open it up and show you why this book is special. This is one of several of mine. What do you think it is? K-Munin on the replay? It is a double cover. There was an error when this thing was manufactured in the printing press, and they put two covers on it. And that's one of several covers I have that are double covers. There's several issues I have that contain double covers. It's really cool when you have a Silver Age book like Danny Cochran, Kraken's Lair Comics. He's got like some Fantastic Fours from the 60s, or one. A Dr. Doom cover. That's a double cover. I think it's issue 59, I want to say. 57. It's Fantastic Four issue 57, which I have, but I don't have a double cover of it. Isn't that neat? A double cover. I think that's cool. And it's a newsstand edition to boot. Now, I'll never grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. All right. Now, this is the True Home stretch. And ladies and germs, as Elvira says, I forgot about the annuals. I'll just show them. I didn't look up the dates they were released. There's several annuals. There's 7 Marvel 2-in-1 annuals. I have them all. I forgot about that. An annual usually would come out in the summertime, and it's once a year, just like a yearbook, an annual. Hence the name annual. Not every comic book got annuals, but this one did. And there were some key annuals in the Marvel 2-in-1 book series. There's issue 89. Let me see if it's a... Oh, no, there are no more keys. That's right. I don't have to reference that anymore. But this was out March 23rd, 1982 for the first time. So let's move along to issue 90 from April 27th, 1982. This might be the one you were talking about, Mr. Gutfeld. If you're still out there, it's The Thing and Spider-Man. Does this look familiar to you? I've got 2 copies. It's one I bought off the rack as well. This is an upgrade because I read this one a lot. But The Thing and Spider-Man, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Same thing with this one. This is one I bought. It was meant to look like Batman. Look at that. But it's really the Sphinx. But it tricked me. Tricked you, Baron. Like in Flash Gordon, the movie. But there are my 2 copies of both newsstands. I like that cover. No, not you. It can't be you because of the lawyers and the legalities. You know, it's a good little joke cover. I like it. Here's issue 92. I have the newsstand and the direct edition. As I explained last time, comics are first released at comic book shops, back then anyway, and I think now. And then they're released on the newsstand or a comic book spinner rack at a 7-Eleven or convenience store or grocery store. So there's differences. Look how there's no UPC symbol in the direct edition. And also the price tag area is different. It doesn't have the CC, who are the comic book circulation people. That's their little symbol with the globe of the earth, a flat globe, and a UPC symbol. So this is Jocasta. I have her first appearance in comic book form. And there's Ultron. Ultron supposedly is going to return to the MCU. And who does the voice of Ultron and did in Avengers Civil War? That would be James Spader from Blacklist and many other shows like Denny Crane, Boston Legal. He had great chemistry with William Shatner. Now moving along. Let me hurry because there's going to be more than 112. Forgot about the annuals. Total issues we're covering tonight. There's The Thing and the Machine Man, issue 93 of Marvel 2-in-1. And that's from July 27th, 1982. The previous issue was with Jocasta, and Ultron was from June 22nd, 1982. I don't think I mentioned that. Here's issue 94. The Thing and Power Man and Iron Fist from August 24th, 1982. Here is The Thing and the Living Mummy, issue 95 of Marvel 2-in-1 from September 28th, 1982. Let's see if this thing is still going in the frame. Okay, good, it is. Here is issue 96, where the Thing is in a hospital room in a bed, and the nurse is saying shh to everyone battling Daredevil and Mr. Fantastic. And look at that. So let me look at when this book hit the scene. Issue 96, October 26th, 1982. The next one was released on November 23rd, 1982. The Thing and Iron Man. Okay. Here is issue 98. Video Wars. Video games were all the rage, arcades and the like at that point in time. This one is from December 28th, 1982. The Thing and Rom, issue 99, second to the last issue of Marvel 2-in-1 from January 25th, 1983. And this is a Parker Brothers entity and character. There was a Rom. That's one I got to show every cover of, Rom. But there's quite a few ROMs. There's like ROM lasted 80 some issues, and there were annuals too. There's like 4 annuals. Anyway, this is a character that, as we're live, the MCU can't bring to life unless they cut a deal with Parker Brothers like they did with Sony to be able to bring Spider-Man to the Marvel Comics universe. But it was a toy line from 1979. But there's The Thing and Rom, ROM Rom. And Rom was on the cover of Hulk issue 296, in which I had a fan letter published when I was a youngster when I created Madcap. Unofficially. Around that time. There we go. So now here's the final issue. A double-size issue, issue 100. And it's The Thing and Ben Grimm. This ties into issue 50 that I showed you earlier. Let me pull that one back because I really think this is cool what they did. Issue 50, we already talked about, was The Thing battles the Thing. He went back in time, battled himself when he was a mass of mud instead of a pile of rocks. And he was cured. That alternate version of Ben Grimm and The Thing. And then he comes back. And it's a sequel. And there it is. That's the final issue. And you know what happened to this title? This title, which started as issues 11 and 12 of Marvel Feature, later became simply The Thing, starting with issue 1. That's what happened to this book. And he got his own solo title. I have those issues. That's one I'll be featuring later down the line. Oh, Danny Staten had referenced the Sasquatch issue I showed. So there's that. And the final issue, and I'll get to the annuals and then we'll wrap. That's from Monday, June 6th, 1983. I could do a few trivia questions. Why not? I mean, if anyone's still out there, it's getting kind of late. But the annuals. Oh, Jesus. I just saw like a key book, the first appearance of the Master of Kung Fu. All right, let's look at annual 1. And I'm going to pull up really quickly the release date. I want this to be a historically accurate stream. featuring every issue of Marvel 2-in-1, including the real dates that these were first released to the public. So let me pull up from my trusted website, marvelfandom.com. Let's see, it's Marvel 2-in-1. I'm going to show you Annual 2, which ties into Avengers Annual 7, Death of Thanos story in a second. 2-in-1 Annual 1 Marvel. And I can do this. I won't have to type this in every time. Once I do this one time, it'll be pulled up. Okay, so this should have been in the summertime. Let's see. June 22nd, 1976, Annual 1. I need to get back to the keys because I know that Annual 2 is a key. Anyway, there's that one. There's that Liberty Legion. Not the best of characters. Here's Annual 2. This is the key. This is the Death of Thanos story. Let me see I love that cover. Look at that, Danny Staten, if you're still out there. That is a bad cover. I love the choice of color in that. Really neat stuff. And this book hit, obviously, in the summer of 1977, because it says 1977 by the number 2. So that annual was released on September 20th, 1977, tail end of summer. Dad's birthday today, September 20th, but back in 1977. That's when this first hit. That's a nice condition book, too. So there's Annual 2. I'm going to look that up real quick in the key website. Annual 2 key. Annual 2 key. Okay. Oh, shoot. I just saw it. $85 mint condition and up. This is a mint condition. I need to get it graded. But again, it ties in to Avengers Annual 7. I believe. Yeah, Annual 7. Yes, Annual 7. It's a continuation. And this is the Death of Thanos. And it's the first appearance of Lord Order and Master Chaos. So this is a good book. Let's get on to Annual 3. I don't think any of the other annuals are keys. Let's see. Oh, Annual 6 is a key. And Annual 7 is a key. Okay, let me just pull that up. All right. So let me just show you Annual 3, which is a lot worse in terms of the cover art. There is Annual 3 from 1978. Let me tell you the date that this book hit. And I need to change that bag, Keebs. Here it is. Okay, Annual 3. There's that site. As Corey's comedy channel says, bada bing, bada zing. Doing my thing. Hey, that rhymes. July 7th, 1978. Okay. Next is Annual 4. There's only 7 annuals, folks. So hang on, 12. You got some bonus books. 119 books we're covering tonight. 119. Woo! I don't know how I'll do those 200. I put that number out there. I'm going to keep it to 200. It's taken me this long to do these. Annual 4, The Thing and Black Bolt, who is an Inhuman. That's one of his. He's in the Inhumans. They were first introduced in Fantastic Four issue 45. This from June 26, 1979. Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 4. Good enough. So let's move on to Annual 5 of 7. Show you that cover. Oh, dear. And then I'm going to show you a bonus super key in a second. Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 5. Nice, bright yellow colors. And this hit the streets on June 10th, 1980. Now, that's not a key. Okay, according to this website, it's not a key. Okay. Only the keys, please. Just the keys, please. Annual 6. This, for some reason, is a key, but it's got American Indians. Maybe all new Double-sized blockbuster featuring Claw, Kazar the Savage, Wyatt Wingfoot, and much, much more. The Thing and introducing American Eagle. First appearance. That might be why, and I'll find out why right now. Why is this book a thing? Well, first of all, it hit the public for sale everywhere on July 14th, 1981. And the Key Collector website says the first appearance of American Eagle, Jason Strongbow, a Native American belonging to the Navajo tribe, and it only has, according to this, a $15 value in good condition. So that's not a major key by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to show you a super key in a minute. All right, now here is issue 7, or annual 7 of Marvel 2-in-1. The final Marvel 2-in-1 we're going to see tonight. You've seen them all after this. First appearance of the Champion of the Universe in high condition, about $50. In good condition, high grade, which this is. I have a newsstand of it too. This is a direct edition. Let me now look at the date that it hit the public. And I'm going to show you a super key. Mr. Staten and Keebs, whoever hung in there, God bless you. This has been a long one, kind of boring for those that aren't into comics. I know. June 22nd, 1982, summer of 82 is when this hit. And I kind of like it, the boxing. And there's Sasquatch Danny Staten again. And they shall call him champion. There you go. So we went through all of the Marvel 2-in-1 issues. Marvel Team Up also had annuals. We'll get to that when we get to it. And this show I like to call Every Issue Ever Made live stream, YouTube exclusive. Now here's the super key in alphabetical order. Let me look it up before I reveal what it is. I want to look up the value of this book currently. It may not be worth what it was. It is Marvel Special Edition number 15, the first appearance of the Master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi. Oh God. Okay. Let me look up Marvel Fandom for the release date. This was a reprint title that reprinted Thor issues. And then they came up with some all new stories and all new characters. But Marvel Special Edition 15. This hit, oh, you son of a gun, that's the wrong website. Oh man. On September 4th, 1973. And now let me look at the value of it, and I'll show you my copy. It's absolutely gorgeous. I should get it graded. 1,200 copies. I said super key. It's a key, but this is in like mint condition, near mint. It's perfect. First appearance of Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu. First appearance of Sir Dennis Nayland Smith. First appearance of Fu Manchu, the father of Shang-Chi. We saw him in the movie. Later renamed Han, then Zheng Zhu. The first team appearance of Sci-Fan, a secret society with allegiances to Fu Manchu. And it's the first appearance of Shang-Chi's unnamed mother, an American. Later reconnected, I guess, later retconned in Shang-Chi number 4 in 2021. So in high grade, non-grade, I'm going to look at the graded on this one. It says $1,200. Let me do this more. Go Collect says the value of this book. GoCollect.com is, and it's building the tables. It won't show me everything. It might show me a 9.6, which is probably what this is. Actual sales of graded copies. So it's a little apples to oranges because this is a raw copy. $1,437 is the 90-day average. Yeah, okay. But I don't know what a 9.8 is. I don't think this would be a 9.8, but look, it's like perfect. I mean, this is definitely get $1,000 for it at least, I would think. But timing's everything. I'm going to wait and see if the economy improves. But I wouldn't sell. I'd sell a double. But I'm not looking to sell this book because this will only go up in value. But it's a black cover. I said this earlier in the show. A cover with black as a primary color is very unforgiving in terms of any defects like spine ticks and the like or folds. And this has none of that. I mean, it's just a perfect copy. I need to change the bag out on this one for sure, but there it is. And that was in this box in alphabetical order. And there's the second Shang-Chi. So these are my Shang-Chi. Actually, it's the Master of Kung Fu. I should have put it under Marvel Special Edition. That's the actual title of the book, but it was retitled Master of Kung Fu pretty soon after this issue. But that's another book I can show all. I forgot to write that one down. There's 125 issues of that book, if you count the first 14 being actually Marvel Special Edition, Thor reprints and the like. But so really issue 15 through 125, so that's 110 issues are Master of Kung Fu issues. Does that make sense? So let me look. Sneak peek. Also in here was a Marvel Team Up. I'll just show you for future. There's the annual 1 Spider-Man and the X-Men. I've shown enough in here. I mean, enough comics today. Yeah, I'll just have to save it. I think we're all comic booked out, and my voice is starting to give way a little bit. My key light kind of went kablooey. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you on the video side. Do we want to do, is Gutfeld still out there? Bigfoot. Never seen that one. Yeah. Wonder Man sounds like he should wear a rainbow outfit. Hey, man, I said it before, and I mean it. I support LGBLT, and I had a BLT today. I really do. I'm serious. I do. All right. I know you do too. I'm just saying to be saying. I mean, I'm saying from the heart too. That sounded so fake. All right. Danny had also said, I got a few Elvira Mistress of the Dark comics. There you go. Yeah, I got a lot of those Bigfoot Sasquatch issues of X-Men and Alpha Flight, of course. He's a main player in Alpha Flight. So there's a lot of Sasquatch in the form of Sasquatch in the Marvel Comics universe in the books. Keithler says, I'm still here listening. Thank you, girl. Danny Staten says, I'm listening too, just trying to super glue my favorite ashtray back together. Oh, crap. You had an accident while I was rambling on, did you? Sorry about that, man. That sucks. I hate that for you. So, all right. That's all the comic books. The Superman movie. I want to give you some quick details on that. If you are fortunate enough to be near a theater that's going to host it, it's a Fathom event. I'm going to check it out Wednesday night. Oh, and I have some movie reviews, but let's get serious before I get to those movie reviews because those are kind of on the facetious side. The movie's called Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. It's rated PG-13. It's an hour and 44 minutes long. It will be in theaters just for 2 nights, a Fathom event on Saturday and Wednesday night. So that would be Saturday, September 21st. Oh, I got a phone right in front of me and with a calendar on it. The phone has replaced so many things, hasn't it? I mean, when you think of what the iPhone replaced, it replaced video cameras, it replaced calculators, it replaced calendars, it replaced so much, so many devices and things. So it'll be in theaters September 21st as we're live. It's probably in your review mirror for the replay crew. And then Wednesday, September 25th. Check your local listings for Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. And it's pretty much his kids talking about Christopher Reeve's life, and there's real footage in it. I heard it's very emotional. When you get to what happened to him in 1995, becoming a paraplegic due to a spooked horse he was riding in that terrible horse riding accident that rendered him a quadriplegic, but he did a lot of good stem cell research. He wanted funded and raised a lot of money for that. Also, he wasn't vindictive. He didn't want that horse destroyed. He didn't go on some sort of rampage or vendetta against, why would you, right? But I mean, he took everything in stride. He was a true leader, I think. He was a leader. He was a great inspiration to his fans and to those with spinal cord injuries. God bless him, the memory of Chris Reeve. And I met him in 1994, months before that terrible incident, got his autograph. And he couldn't have been nicer. So I personally met the man, and it's really sad what happened to him and Dana Reeve. Dana Reeve died of lung cancer. She never even smoked, but she was a performer. She was a a singer, and she performed in places that had secondhand smoke. I'm not a medical man. Don't know if that contributed. Sometimes just through genetics, people can get rare forms of cancer and forms of cancer that were not self-inflicted or inflicted by contact. So who knows? But that is just, to me, terrible that Dana Reeve got lung cancer when she never even smoked, according to all reports. So we got to lighten the mood. I want to get to JT's movie reviews. And maybe trivia. Just poll, anyone out there want to do trivia, or should I save it for next time? It's kind of late. Mr. Gutfeld, are you still out there? Did the Met, let me look and see if the Mets and Braves won or lost tonight. The Phillies are just too good in this division, but anything can happen in the playoffs. But you got to get there, right? I don't want to talk sports, but let me just look. I'm dying to know. Mets did fall big time, 12-2 to the Phillies. And let's see if my Braves fell. Oh, man, they lost 2 to the Marlins, who suck. So Braves, I don't have much hope for them in the postseason. Hate to say they've had injuries, though, major key injuries. So let me just step off of that topic. All right, so excuse me, I mean cough into your ear. JT, where is my review? He reviewed a couple things for the show this week. Agatha All Along, I know I said that 2 or 3 times. Let me pull that up. Yo, Lobo. He's watching on Facebook Live in California State. I don't think we'll do trivia. Mr. Gutfeld's probably checked out. I went a little long on the comics, especially when I started talking annuals. He's like, oh, Lord, I thought we were at the end of this when he got to issue 100, Marvel 2-in-1. Excuse me. JT reviewed for me also Transformers 1. Let's look at his review for Transformers 1 first right now.
Oh, this is movie reviews by JT, and I got another review for you. Transformers 1. This film was a blast from start to finish. It is one of the best films in the Transformers franchise. I saw this at an early screening today. The animation was great. Solid voice cast. I really enjoyed it a lot. This is a non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to get too much details in the film. But this film really, really worked. It worked for me and everything. It's a lot of the anime visuals were great and everything. It was funny. I laughed a couple of times and everything. And definitely go see this movie when it hits theaters this Friday, September 20th. It's great. You'll have a blast and stuff. If you're a Transformers fan and stuff, you definitely gonna like this movie and everything. And yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I can't wait to watch it again very soon and everything. And yeah, it is so good and everything. And I thought I was gonna be coming out of this movie actually really enjoying it and everything, and yeah, and everything, and yeah, I give Transformers 1 a 9 out of 7. Definitely go check this movie out in theaters this week. So that's my review for Transformers 1. All right, bye.
Thank you, JT, and I owe you popcorn for that because you did double duty. You also watched on Disney Plus Agatha All Along, episodes 1 and 2. Here's a 56-second review of that, which is a Marvel MCU production. Take it away, JT.
The first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along were great. I like the element, weird, strange, crazy, spooky. This show I had been anticipated for a long time, ever since they announced it and everything. I've been waiting for this show to come on, and yeah, and I really enjoyed these first 2 episodes of the show. Catherine Hahn still great as Agatha Harkness. Aubrey Plaza does a great job playing the character she played. And Joe Lau performance was solid. He still every single scene in the first 2 episodes. And I can't wait for the rest of the episodes of the show and see how the show goes on and everything. All right.
Thanks, JT. I think I'll give it a look as well based on your glowing review. So, it's caught whiffing my breath. I got to do something about my breath. That coffee breath is rough, man.
Ah, the freshness of morning. Ooh, the grunginess of morning breath.
Morning.
Minty Fresh Scope?
Mine works. Can't you tell the difference?
Yeah, you just turn morning breath to medicine breath. Scope leaves your breath minty fresh. Try.
Minty fresh. Some sensation.
Some difference.
Morning.
Ah, Scope. Fights bad breath, doesn't give medicine breath.
Yeah, but medicine breath is what's actually the antiseptic element that really refreshes your breath, that kills the germs. You know, I don't think Scope really, it masks it, but I don't think it really kills any germs. I think that's why Scope kind of faded back. You don't see many Scope ads anymore. Next week, we're going to talk about the 60th anniversary of Bewitched. There were a lot of big-time anniversaries of shows like The Addams Family, The Munsters turned 60. Not many people are talking about that. They are on Bewitched. I didn't do it on time because there's been so many great, better streams than mine in terms of the footage and the research and the interviews pertaining to Bewitched specifically. So I'm going to get back to that. I haven't forgotten. I just wanted some time to elapse between an awesome one. Just look on YouTube, 60th anniversary of Bewitched. You'll see I've linked it in the Nostalgic Podblast Facebook group and the Facebook page. I want you to see it if you like Bewitched, because it's very, very well done. I don't think I could come close to the quality of that particular remembrance of Bewitched on its 60th anniversary. September 1964 is when it debuted. But I do have a little clip of Liz Montgomery, a black and white interview. Back then, there weren't late night talk shows besides The Tonight Show, of course, but people didn't promote their shows like they do now back then, certainly not in the mid 1960s. But I found this little interview with Liz Montgomery talking about Bewitched, just 3 minutes long and change, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Go and play it right now for you, if it's okay.
Do people really who watch the show think you're a witch?
Oh, yes.
Are you serious?
Well, they don't, I don't think. I kind of wish I were sometime. Because it'd be nice to get rid of all those dishes in the sink, you know, as easily as I know you must feel the same way. But it's people are always saying, like when the Dodgers were in such terrible trouble, you know, if anybody spotted me in the stadium, I'd hear twitch, twitch, and unfortunately it didn't do us any good.
It didn't do any good in the World Series.
It was very tragic. Wasn't that awful?
You know, what happens when you're in a series and you just, you know, you want to have a child, you become pregnant? What do? They have to just rewrite the whole series?
Well, luckily, when I found out that I was pregnant with our second little boy, well, I didn't know it was our second little boy when I was pregnant, but they wanted Samantha to have a baby on the show. And we didn't know whether it was going to be a boy or a girl or, you know.
What did they want on the show?
Well, we didn't know until quite late, until we started working with scripts and things like that. And it just kind of worked out that I had a boy and Samantha had a girl.
Oh, that's
and so
great.
we call her Tabitha.
Your husband, who is Bill Asher, really
Yes.
does direct the show.
Oh, yes, he's the regular director on the show, and he's, you know, one of the co-producers and kind of coordinates a lot of...
Is that good, Elizabeth, having
Oh,
your
I
husband?
love it. I just love it. And we have a marvelous time together. And it eliminates the two-car problem about having, you know, two cars out all the time and waiting for your husband when he's got one and you've got the other. And we work very well together. I met him working for him, as a matter of fact.
Do you have any time for any activities with your children at home with your busy
Oh.
schedule?
Well, yes, it's a little rough, and thank goodness they're young. You know, the oldest one is just a little over 2, and the youngest one was a year old October 5th. So they're quite a handful.
That's close together.
But yes, it is. But they're, you know, the children's hours are so peculiar, and I don't think it matters as long as we have enough time to really be with them. If they're kept up a little later at night, as long as they get their sleep. So we see them every night when we come home. We're up at 5:30 in the morning, which is before they ever get up. And Oh, I hope that wasn't me. Did those lights
I think
dim?
you did. You moved your nose, and I saw the
that
lights
would happen.
dim. I don't want to say anything, but you are very good at darts, they tell me.
Well, my husband and I play quite a bit.
I'd like to challenge you if you promise not to tweak your nose while we're playing the game, okay?
Okay, I promise.
Caesar?
Oh, watch me stumble over that. Here.
Where are they?
That's the way it's done.
Okay.
Where are they? Oh, good grief. I guess this is about... Would you look at the size of that thing?
Is that too small?
Well,
hey, it ain't big.
It looks like it's 90 feet away.
Okay.
We're only supposed to be
try
9
a couple,
feet.
just so you get the range.
All right. Oh, I think that... Oh, boy.
Ah, not bad.
Do you know how you...
And then they cut the clip. I want to see what her aim was like. Oh, well. So I found something in my video vault. I put it on YouTube. This is a rare alternate version of the Ropers opening theme, which uses the Three's Company theme. This is from syndication. For some reason, this was put in the rerun package of Three's Company, and it's different. It's a variant, meaning it's a shorter version of the opening credits you saw on ABC for the Ropers, and it's got the Three's Company 6th season theme that was used in season 6, 7, and the final season 8 of Three's Company. I'm going to play it now. This is from a 1991. I recorded this in March of 1991 off of WVEU TV 69 here in Atlanta. Don't laugh. It really is 69. He started as a music video local channel to compete with MTV in the around 1983. And then it started airing syndicated shows, including Space 1999 UFO. And they aired the Ropers. And I recorded this way back in 1991. So it's not tracking out with a stereo VCR, but I kind of like this rare version of the Ropers theme. And they added DL Taffner, the distributor, Three's Company's Friends, the Ropers at the top. They added Three's Company's Friends as a super on top of the sequence. Let's watch this. It's very
services.
Are you still driving a horse and...
There's that. So it's on my YouTube channels, but I just wanted to play that within this stream. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight then. I guess nobody out there is left to play trivia. I'll save it for Friday night and give away some prizes. Never heard if anyone got their stuff. Hopefully everyone got their prizes from the last round of 1970s trivia. That'll be the topic of trivia next time as well. So have a real good rest of your weekend. Have an awesome week next week. And collect comic books. Keep collecting comic books. Support your local comic shop. And certainly go to the Atlanta Comic Convention if you're in the Atlanta area. Let me make sure I don't have any other photos to show you before I go. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow night, going to be on this. Maybe. I might go see the Chris Reeve thing. I probably will be on this because I said I would, and I already have it set up to go. Best horror movies of all time. This will be part 1. On Brain Bender's Banter is the origin of our simul stream. It's going to be here on the Nostalgic Podblast and not on Chance Acting Demo, just on the Nostalgic Podblast YouTube and Facebook streams, as well as other places. The regular co-panelists will be on as well, like Sarah in Southern California. My Flock, I think she'll be there. TD, I think, and Limey Redneck out of England. But we're going to talk about our favorite horror movies as we kick off the Halloween season. So I hope to see you there right here on the Nostalgic Podblast at 9:15 Eastern Time, 6:15 Pacific Time. That'll be a lot of fun. Always love talking about scary movies. That's always a lot of fun. So we'll see you next time on the Podblast. Where's my little theme? Just stalling here. Make sure I didn't leave anything out. And I forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention the shout outs. And also this portion is, I might as well tell you, this part is not something I promote with our friends at Remind Magazine, but I did notice something interesting. Remind Magazine, of course, they have an excellent special I've told you about for a long time now. You can give Remind Magazine for only $1 an issue for the first year. $12 out the door, including shipping, including tax. But I kept telling you the cover price is $4.99. It's actually $5.99. I was at Barnes & Noble today. And by the way, I couldn't believe how many magazine covers Taylor Swift is on. She must have been on, I did a video on my personal Facebook page, at least 25 covers, all sorts of different magazines. I mean, they say print is dead. I beg to differ. I mean, I couldn't believe how many magazines there were. And she is so super popular. And I bet those magazines sell with her face on them. Wow. But Remind Magazine, you can get Remind Magazine by going to remindmagazine.com, and you can give it as a gift for only $12. And people will think you spent a heck of a lot more than just $12. And here is the recent issue, the current issue of Remind Magazine. No $5.99 plus tax for you, only $1 to give to yourself or to give for a friend for their birthday or what have you. And each issue is packed with brain-teasing puzzles and games and stories about the 1950s through the 1990s. You get 10 issues a year, and that includes 2 double-sized issues. Just go to remindmagazine.com. Please mention the Nostalgic Podblast when you order. You'll really love this magazine. And I love this current edition about classic game shows. And some quick shout outs. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, BK on the air on WBHF through their app or WBHF.org. He's a big friend of the show, really nice person. And more importantly, he's got a great voice and he does an excellent job hosting that show. Hell, I think he's done that show since 2013 on various stations. He's been on WBHF for at least 11 years, if not more, consistently. Most Saturdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern time. Check him out. Check out James Install, Geek to Me Radio, Sunday night. And he's on YouTube as well. James is from 10 to 11 Eastern time. That's off of KTRS FM in St. Louis, Missouri. That's his 1-hour radio show. I encourage you to check him out. And let me make sure. Nostalgia World Facebook group. It's a lot of fun. Jerry Dobson runs that one. The Fun World of Classic Television on Facebook by Steve Russo. That's a good one. I just want to give some shout. And then, of course, Retro Zest. Curtis Langklow, he interviewed Maren Jensen. There was an anniversary of Battlestar Galactica. It debuted September 17th, 1978, 3-hour epic on ABC. And it was funny. Glenn Larson has a Facebook group. He's, of course, no longer with us. I'm a big fan of Glenn Larson shows. And I was promoting the great job that Retro Zest did and Curtis did by securing an interview with Maren Jensen, who was like the Angelina Jolie of that era. And she acted with Doug Barr, who's been a guest on the Nostalgic Podblast in a movie, Deadly Blessing. But, a lot of people in the community for the last 20 years or so thought there were all these rumors as to why she never surfaced for conventions. Some said she got a disease. Some said she gained a lot of weight. None of that's true. She started a business and she has moved on from acting. That's the truth of it. And Curtis nailed the interview. I was a little harsh. I was trying to promote what a great job. And here's where I messed up is, before Glenn A. Larson was promoting an interview someone was doing with Lorette Sprang, who played, she was married to McCook, this guy who's been on the soap opera Young and the Restless for a long, long time. He was married once before to Juliet Prowse, and they were on Tattletales together and everything. But it was an interview with her and Jack Stauffer, who played one of the Viper pilots, one of the good guys on the Galactica, and Glenn A. Larson's son. And, I was a little harsh. I got to be honest. I said in my post, like, nobody can beat what Curtis did in his 5-part epic. He got Stu Phillips, the guy who did the music for Battlestar Galactica. You never want to tear someone down to pump someone up. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of did that, and I'm trying to be better than that. And so I apologize because that was not the right way to say, hey, Curtis did a great job, because they probably did too. And as Glenn Larson pointed out, you posted that Curtis did it better before this thing even dropped. How do you know? And that's a very fair point and true. So when I make a mistake, I'll own up to it. So I was a little harsh with that one. So anyway, that's all I got to say right now on that. And that's all my shout outs, I reckon. So everybody, Be good to your neighbor. Have a great week. Let me do a final sweep of the comments. Dave sends me magazines. Who's Dave? Who are you talking about? Let's see. Good night, Chance. Great show. Tracy got hers. She got her prize. Good. I want to make sure everyone got their prizes. Hey, I saw the Roper video. Yeah, no, I posted it, but I want to, for those that catch the live stream. Oh, you're talking about Dave Sundstrom. Right. Yeah, you told me that once before. He sends you magazines. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, happy trails to you, my friend. And I just can't tear myself away. It's the coffee. Y'all have a good night. And comic book people, we're going to do this again in 2 weeks. I guess I'll do the Defenders since I started with the first 3 Marvel features featuring the first appearance of the Defenders. I'll do all 152 issues of the Defenders. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to try to find a way to condense it down so I just don't go on and on and on. All right. Well, I did have this, though. I had a quick rant.
You want to fight? I'll give you a fight. Come on, punk. Come on. You want some more?
Got a quick rant. This is against, it's a technological rant in terms of Xfinity. Long story short, they have something called the X1 platform they've been promoting the last several years. And they claim, it's so much better than a traditional DVR box to record things. Now, most of you have cut the cord long ago, so I'll be brief because it doesn't apply to most of you out there that might be listening or watching. But here's my point. The old school DVR has a disk drive in it that saves recordings you've done. The X1 platform from Xfinity operates on the cloud. Here's the problem. If the power goes out or you're disconnected from the internet, you can't even access your own recordings because it's all done through the internet. That's a flaw. So I'm not going to rant and rave about it. It is what it is. But I didn't realize that until this week. And also Xfinity, their internet went out every day this week. It was routine maintenance, they say, for the first couple days. And I work from home a lot. So that really interfered with my productivity to make money and stuff. And they said, it's routine maintenance. Well, why wouldn't you do routine maintenance in the middle of the night? Why would you do it in the afternoon or late morning, like 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock? But they did give me credit. They did give me credit. So I got like $60 in credit to my Xfinity bill. But I was like, damn, dog. And then when it happened after the second day, I said, is this going to happen again tomorrow? Oh, no, sir, it won't. We don't see anything scheduled. Well, it did go out, but they claim it's because of an unplanned issue where something went wrong. Just bad luck every day. And they will text you when your service is out and when it's restored. So I did get credit. So I got to be fair, but it just sucks how this X1 platform that they kept begging me to switch to. And I did in one of my rooms, in my bedroom, but not in my living room. In another room, I said, no, I want to keep, because I have stuff on there that I've recorded that is in HD, and I have a way to convert it to DVD, but I have a way to convert it to HD to save it. And it's like stuff I appeared in and other things, rare interviews and things. And so I'm like, no, I want to keep that. So I was right. Because the old school DVR, again, you can access it because that's on a hard drive. It's not on the internet. So that was like kind of a wake up call about the technology. And it made me think, man, Lord forbid, if the grid goes down, we're all going to be screwed. I mean, we rely so much on the internet now, the streaming gods that's pushed on us with the big shell game of streaming. I mean, nobody wants you to have hard copies of anything, it seems. It's all about control of content. And hey, that's their material. But the point is, and the lesson is, Keebler says do 2 shows on Defenders instead of all 152 issues. Okay, well, and there's annuals too. So it's actually just like Marvel 2-in-1, there are annuals as well, some key annuals too in that collection of the Defenders. So I guess it'd be more like closer to 159 issues of Defenders if you include the annuals. But anyway, yeah, I'm just a little nervous about the way technology is going, but it is what it is. We can all just hope for the best. So have a great week, everybody. I'm finally saying good night. Chance Bartels, the Nostalgic Podblast. We'll see you this coming Friday and tomorrow night on the panel. Good night.